Coming to you live from the Seibo Dome, just outside of Tokyo, Japan. This outdoor arena was built in 1980, but tonight, 35,000 wild and enthusiastic spectators are on hand to witness the greatest mixed martial arts show on earth, the Pride Fighting Championships. Hi, my name is Steven Quadros, and welcome to the Pride Fighting Championships Return of the Warriors.
Hello, fight fans, and welcome back to Pride Resurrection, a historical video series dedicated to the Pride Fighting Championships, where with each episode, we'll take a look back at a specific event from Pride's history. And today, dear viewers, we're going to be taking a look back at Pride 10, Return of the Warriors.
So manly, so manly.
I am the most dangerous man alive today, joined by the Colombian Goodbye. And we also might have a special guest for our last fight of the evening, so stay tuned for that. It's August 27th in the year 2000, and the land of the rising sun desperately needs exhibition fighting to quench its suppressed rage. And so, the warriors of old will return to hopefully please the bloodthirst of the masses. The Seibu Dome in Saitama, Japan will host our extravaganza, where a sellout of 35,000 fans have come out to witness that which cannot be unwitnessed. It's been 2 months since Pride 9, and this time around 10 bouts of spectacle will air for the enjoyment of all. Pride 10 is a massive show with an amazing lineup of fights, and I am pumped for this one. Groovy intro music with Quadros hyping up the event for us. The Seibu Dome is an outdoor venue, and it's very WrestleMania-esque in its presentation. Quadros asks us, what makes Pride #1? Is it the pyrotechnics? No, it's the fighters, dummy! And hey, we get a new special commentator just for Pride 10. It's Eddie fucking Bravo.
Who the fuck is Eddie Bravo? Because I hear his voice and I'm like, whatever. And then he started talking. I'm like, I hate this guy.
Yes.
I fucking hate this guy.
So where's Boss rooting for this one? Not sure. Maybe he was sick, or maybe he was out of the country, but he will be back. If you don't know if you don't know who Eddie Bravo is, he's the founder of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, marijuana smoker, and all-around crazy guy. Go check out Joe Rogan's podcast, where he is a frequent guest talking about crazy conspiracy theories.
You know what? He's not a commentator.
I'll get into that later. I will get into that later. And wow, Eddie looks like a real go-getter here. I'm not sure if he's going to be explaining the action or selling me a car. Before we get into our event, what else was happening in the MMA world around this time? In September, a month following Pride 10, Pancrase held their 2000th anniversary show, which showcased a middleweight tournament featuring some legends and future marquee names, including Shoni Carter, Minoru Suzuki, Dennis Kang, Ikohisa the Punk Minowa, and Nate Marquardt, who would win the tournament that evening.
I recognize none from those names.
So people listening will recognize those names.
Absolutely not one of them.
Meanwhile, also a month after Pride 10 of September, the home of drunk assholes and gator fuckers, aka New Orleans, saw the UFC bring their carnival act to town. UFC 27, Ultimate Bad Boys. That's boys with a Z.
Oh my god.
Who were some of the...
my god. I honestly thought The Last Warrior was bad.
Oh, yeah.
But Bad Boys with a goddamn Z. Yes. Holy fucking Christ.
Who were some of the bad boys fighting that night? Yuki Kondo showed up to TKO Alexandre Dantas, a man who only had 2 MMA fights in his career, both losses. Maury Smith was also there, winning a decision against Bobby Hoffman. Fabiano Iha armbarred Laverne Clark, and in the main event, Pedro Hizzo would face off against Michigan mustached muscle man Dan the Beast Severn.
Hey, I recognize a name! Woo!
Hizzo would force Severn to cry uncle after 1 minute due to punches. And
wait, due to punches?
Yes.
He outpunched goddamn Severn?
I didn't think it'd be possible to make Severn submit to punches, but I guess
holy
apparently
shit.
It was. With all that out of the way, let's get into Pride 10, Return of the Warriors. Our first bout of the evening sees a returning Vitor Belfort taking on a returning Daijiro Matsui. Belfort was 23 years old and had a record of 7-2. Matsui was 27 years old, meanwhile, and had a record of 1-4-2. Both men are back after Pride 9, but only Matsui found time to fight elsewhere. At King of the Cage 4, held in California, Matsui took on Todd Medina and lost via decision.
Hold on 1 second. Has Matsui ever not lost by decision so far? Because, I mean, the fights we've seen have all been decision.
Well, he lost via doctor stoppage.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is he's never actually straight out lost.
No, I don't think he has. I think, yeah, you're right. He only lost via decision to everyone he's fought. Yeah, good memory there. Special thanks to YouTuber Int Padrino for this shit cam recording of King of the Cage 4. No intro for our fighters, just right to the fight. Matsui is sporting an evil-looking goatee, and poor Matsui, he goes from fighting one top guy to another. I have a feeling this won't be good for him. Bravo says that this is a rare fight where a Brazilian is going to avoid the ground.
This would be a rare fight where a Brazilian is going to avoid the ground.
We'll see if that rings true. Round 1. The men take a moment to admire each other in the center of the ring. Bravo quips, "Don't be surprised if Vitor explodes right in Matsui's face."
Don't be surprised if Vitor explodes right in Matsui's face.
Showing a lot.
Matsui with a deep shoot from a mile away. Vitor easily sprawls and spins to take Matsui's back. He immediately makes Matsui pay for his mistake, laying down rights onto his head.
All right, some of them... Okay, so I don't understand this, all right? You can't knee an opponent who's down on all four, right?
Right.
But our punches to the back of the head, they're not allowed.
They're never allowed.
Yeah. Some of those punches looked like straight to the fucking back of the head, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is the ref looking at? And first of all, by the way, you missed the most important part of this match so far, which is like the fucking 5 minutes of them watching each other just prance around. Yeah. And I'm like, where's the fucking action call from the refs, man?
It's been effective throughout Vitor's career.
The crowd is getting restless. Both fighters circling, waiting and waiting for the other to make a mistake.
Like, it was like a solid minute, maybe like minute and a half of them just gauging each other.
Yes.
And I'm like, like the crowd was bored, like dead fucking silent. Except it would pan out and all of a sudden you see someone in the background just yell something fucking random. It was great times.
This is seems to be the way Belfort is going. I don't know why he didn't go right out and attack fucking Matsui. Has he not seen Matsui's fights? He doesn't put up that great of a defense.
No, I mean, he's a good punch bag. I mean, he takes good hits.
Where was I? Belfort then works the body as Matsui covers up. Vitor with full control here as Matsui doesn't seem concerned enough to spin or roll away. Matsui finally does push and spin, getting Vitor into his guard.
At this point, by the way, Matsui's a fucking fountain of blood. It was fucking weird, and I don't know if it's maybe it's something he took, like, that made his blood thinner, or like a blood thinner of some sort, because holy shit, for the cut that he had, he was fucking just bleeding everywhere.
He is very similar to Yuhi Sano, that he is good at one thing, and that's bleeding on you.
Oh my god, no fucking shit.
Matsui with furious upside-down heel kicks. Quadros notes that it's pretty hot there in the Saibu Dome, and maybe putting on an MMA event outdoors in summer wasn't such a good idea.
Now, it's pretty hot here at the Seibu Dome. Outdoors, it's right around 85, 90 degrees, maybe even hotter, so sweat will be a factor when it comes to submissions.
Vitor is gushing sweat already, as noted by Bravo. The men exchange punches, but not much change in position. 5 minutes down, and Bravo talks about how, before the event, he noticed all the cuts around Matsui's eyes when he was talking to him.
He'll probably try and cut him. Because I was talking to Matsui earlier, and I can see that the cuts on his eyes haven't healed from his previous fights.
Nice barrage by Vitor. He's slugged.
He's got sensitive eyes.
Yeah, he was. Bravo, what are you doing? Like staring at his eyes? Like, he's like looking lovingly into his eyes. Nice barrage by Vitor, and he slugs Matsui. Vitor doesn't let up, raining down punches. Matsui tries to push away from Vitor, but Vitor stays with him and swings away. Matsui is busted open, and he rolls, giving up his back. He gushes blood onto the mat. Vitor throws a knee and gets warned, and Quadros reminds us of the rules.
Okay, Vitor almost did a knee to the head, but that's a no-no when all fours are touching the ground and the fighter is facing downward. He has to have at least one limb off the ground, that would mean standing on 3 limbs or less, before he can land a strike to the head from a knee or a kick.
Matsui tries to leap and roll and gets onto his back, but Vitor is in side control now. Another huge barrage by Vitor, and we're now down to 3 minutes in round 1. Matsui gets a leg around Vitor and gets onto his knees with Vitor in doggy style. Matsui maybe goes for a knee bar but fails, and Vitor whacks him with a left. Matsui then pushes into the corner where he piles up blood on the pristine white mat. We've slowed down here, and now we're down to 1 minute. Matsui looks like he'll make it out of the round, surprising everyone involved. The bell rings and Matsui is slow to get up, his face a bloody mess. The fight really should be stopped here, out of compassion for Matsui.
I mean, to me, it's not out of compassion to Matsui. Matsui should do it himself. Yes, the fight's not over, but he hasn't done jack shit. I mean, all he has done is literally get beaten for an entire fucking round. It's just, like, honestly, at that point, I understand there's a, like, get it? There's some pride to it. But still, man, like, at this point, you are outclassed. There is no way, no chance in fucking hell you're winning. Just fucking throw in the towel.
Yeah, Matsui has a lot of heart, but there's a thing to note about Matsui here is I believe his only 2 wins in his career would come via disqualification of the other fighter.
Wow, that's fucking sad.
I hate to spoil it here, but Matsui, I like you. He's a good kid, but he might want to try something else.
He's a fucking punching bag.
He can literally.
He can take a fucking hit. I will give you that, but Jesus fucking Christ, that's all.
I guess if you're getting paid a lot of money just to get beat up, why not? Vitor is looking a little gassed in his corner, and I'm sure the 85+ degree heat isn't helping. Right before the start of the second round, Takada gets into Matsui's ear and could only be asking him where Matsui's fight check is at, because surely Takada has not one single bit of good advice to offer him.
Wait. Guess what, listeners? It's that moment. Fuck you, Takada.
Round 2! Matsui with a high Muay Thai-like guard. He must have saw that in a movie. Vitor is very slow here. The ref calls for action several times and yet nothing from our fighters who stand about a mile away from each other. Matsui warns Vitor that he knows how to wave his hand. Bravo says Matsui has good cardio and Quadros quips that it may be his only strength. Ouch.
Matsui's cardio is great.
Matsui's cardio is a strength of his, but probably in every other way, he may be outgunned in this fight.
More calls for action. A lot of circling, a lot of looking, but not a lot of fighting, says Quadros. The ref halts the fight to remind our fighters how to throw a punch. Thanks, ref. Finally, after 4 minutes into the round, something happens. Someone repeatedly shouts, "Fight, fight, fight, fight!"
They would throw down the heel hook, but he hasn't even been close to a heel hook because Vitor has protected his legs well on the ground from Matsui.
Here we go.
And Vitor shoots in, taking Matsui down. The men talk to each other as Matsui says, "No, it's fine." And Vitor replies, "Come on, my friend."
Weight division, 200 pounds and under.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Come on, friend. Huh?
Matsui says
Before smacking him with a punch. They continue jabbering to each other as Vitor keeps up the punching. Matsui sends a few back, and 5 minutes are passed in round 2. Then there's a stop and restart. And I'll make a note here is I think Matsui can speak okay English because he translates for Sakuraba when Vitor Belfort later. I don't have a mention. That's why I mention it now because I don't have it written down. But yeah, I think Matsui can speak pretty good English. Vitor postures up and drives home a nice left as we work our way back to the ropes. Vitor continues the ground and pound, and the ref comes in to reposition the fighters. 3 minutes left now in round 2. Matsui half-heartedly attempts an armbar, but Vitor slips right through. Nice 1-2 by Vitor, and then more. Vitor manages to pass the side control, and the refs reposition the fighters again. Matsui gets Vitor back in the guard, but only 1 minute now remains in our fight. More work from Vitor, but a finish is obviously not going to come. The bell rings and the fight has ended. Vitor tries to help Matsui up, who looks completely deflated. We'll go to the judges to learn the fate of our fight, which is... Vitor Belfort, winner via decision after 2 rounds, an unsurprising verdict. Belfort gets on the mic and speaks Portuguese, and surprisingly, there is a translator there for him.
Meus amigos do Brasil, para minha família, para minha tchutchuca, beijo, tchutchuca. E gostaria de agradecer ao Zé Moraes pela força que ele tem dado do esporte. Zé Moraes, estou contigo. Doutor Ricco, baixo da gama. É a gente aqui no Brasil brilhando também. Bad Boy, Rialto, meus companheiros de treino. E a todos vocês, fãs do Japão.
And with that, we're off to the next fight. Good vibe. Any thoughts here?
Why the fuck do we keep having Matsui fight? I mean, I'm like any of you listeners. I enjoy seeing someone get hit. But at some point, I want that someone to try to fight back. Matsui's nothing but a goddamn punching bag. And after like 4 or 5 minutes of this, it gets fucking boring. And it gets like I honestly just feel fucking bad for both fighters. A, Matsui's getting beat the fuck out of, and B, the other fighter has no challenge whatsoever. So I mean, that is not a good fucking fight. Plain and simple.
I agree. This was a bad matchup. I don't know who thought that Vitor Belfort, who, although his last couple fights, he's been kind of blah, kind of boring, he's still one of the top fighters in the world. Who thinks that a top fighter in the world should fight Matsui? I know Pride was all about, they threw up unconventional matchups to see what kind of magic would happen. In this case, it didn't work. This was another one-sided methodical fight for Belfort. He's getting pretty close to being just a boring fighter here. How could he not, with his hands and his punching power, how could he not finish Matsui?
You know what? I will counter that. Like I said, Matsui can take a fucking beating. We've seen that. Every fighter he's gone up against, like, he's gotten beaten, he's gotten, like, a couple of submission attempts and stuff like that, and somehow he fucking lasts.
Yes.
So that's the thing is, I understand that you can't really take out Matsui. So you know, I don't hold it against the other fighter for not finishing it, but Matsui shouldn't get in the ring to fucking begin with.
No, Matsui's been given some tough fights. He just doesn't have the size or skill set to match these top-tier MMA guys. So why are they putting him in the ring with, like, Igor Vovchanchyn or Vitor Belfort? Come on, I mean, the fucking guy just doesn't have the skill set to fight them. It's unfair, but he's a warrior for sure.
And I will say this, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. At the end of the fight, the commentators, Eddie and Quadros, are talking about how, because of the fact that Matsui made it till the end, that it's not a catastrophic loss for him.
True.
And I disagree fucking completely. Because that only makes sense if throughout the fight you had a glimmer of hope at winning. Matsui never had it. Ever.
I agree. So what would become of our two buxom brawlers here? Vitor Belfort would be back at Pride 13 Collision Course in March of 2001, where Santa Cruz, California native Bobby Southworth will await him. Vitor won't fight again until then. Matsui, meanwhile, would be lured back to the King of the Cage promotion, appearing in 2 King of the Cage events. First up will be King of the Cage 5, where he'll take on Amir Ranavardi. Remember this guy? The guy that Gary Goodridge pummeled in Pride 3. Matsui won't be back in Pride until Pride 14, Clash of the Titans, where unknown Jose Landy Johns will rise to take him on. Could that be a fix? See you then, boys!
Okay, here he comes. A very charismatic guy from Texas, from the Lion's Den gym, which is Ken Shamrock's gym, Mr. Guy Mezger. Now, he's a pretty good kickboxer. He's an even better grappler, former king of Pancrase here in Japan. So he can stand up and he can fight on the ground. He's had some great opponents, big wins. What do you see, Eddie?
Well, I talked to him earlier, He says he's too strong for Wanderlei. Too big, too strong, too tall for those knees. He knows his last fights were a little boring. That's what he told me. He admitted it. But thinks this fight will definitely be more exciting. Absolutely.
You know, I personally think that Guy has not really put forth his best effort yet because he's got so many tools.
In the red corner, from Brazil, Wanderlei Silva!
Oh boy, Wanderlei Silva. This guy is a proverbial wild man from the jungles. He comes from Curitiba, Brazil, way down in South America. He's from the Shootbox Academy, which Master Hujamar Federico there on the right, and his corner man on the left, Jose Pele Landi. Wanderlei Silva in the white shirt, folks. This man is dangerous, Eddie.
Our second bout of the evening sees a returning Wanderlei Silva taking on a returning Guy Mezger. Silva was 24 years old at the time and had a record of 11-3. Mezger was 32 years old and had a record of 24-10-2. Since his last appearance in Pride at the opening rounds of the 2000 Grand Prix, where he choked Dirty Bob into submission, Silva has fought twice. He took on Tito Ortiz at UFC 25, losing via decision, and then he took on Todd Medina at Mecca Valley Tudo No. 2, which was held just 2 weeks before Pride 10 here. Silva would beat Medina after only 39 seconds with a KO from knees. Mezger was last seen toying around with Masaaki Satake in a super fight at the 2000 Grand Prix finals. Of course, Mezger would earn a decision victory in that snoozer of a fight, so we'll see what happens here. Pre-fight, we get walk-ins for both fighters, where the use of a cute elevator is required. Mezger comes out with Shamrock, and Bravo says that Mezger believes he is too strong for Wanderlei. And for Silva, holy shit, Japanese announcer! He really gets into announcing Silva's name. Oh. And Lenny Hart takes a cue from him, starting herself to ramp up in excitement. Quadros calls Silva a wild man from the jungle.
This guy is a proverbial wild man from the jungles.
Mezger has Sand's right tit Teligman in his corner. And then, wow, Mezger towers over Silva in a shocking difference of height in the center of the ring.
I want to point this out, and I didn't notice it last time Mezger was, you know, we saw Mezger and stuff like that. He looks, at this point, like you, the most dangerous man alive today, if you were hit with a shovel in the face. Like, I mean, body-wise and, like, the hairstyle and everything is just like you. But the face is like someone just took a shovel a couple times. Bam, bam, bam.
I don't know if that's a compliment or...
No, it is a compliment to you. Okay. It's not to him.
I think Mezger's an okay-looking guy. Well, Quadro says he's got model good looks or something like that.
I don't want model. Igor? And by the way, that's Igor from... Frankenstein, not any of the fighters that we will be seeing later on.
Because there's two Igors. Let's get into it. Round one. Mezger takes the center of the ring. He throws a blink and you miss it high kick. Then they exchange punches. Body kick by Mezger, then counter 1-2 by Silva. Mezger then tries a barrage that misses. Another body kick by Mezger with some punches after. Silva pushes Mezger into the ropes with punches and then grabs a tie clinch very briefly. Somehow, Wanderlei is cut around the right eye.
That was weird, because I didn't really see, like, a strike that would cause that cut.
No, and Wanderlei Silva was known for having tons of scar tissue where he would just pop and punch and start bleeding. But he's only, what, 23 years old? He still hasn't, I don't think he's gotten that much scar tissue on his face yet, but he'll be known for that. But maybe he does have a lot of scar tissue already.
But I will say this, by the way, since stop from your play-by-play. this is the kind of match I like. I am a striking, like a fan of striking matches.
Oh, yeah.
And this one fucking delivers.
This one delivers for sure. Silva moves forward again with punches and Mezger ducks low. Silva grabs him in a clinch and fires a knee, to which Mezger shoves Silva away with force, then sticks out a high kick. Silva loads up with a high kick and connects with a punch. Mezger looks a little dazed. Body kick, punch, then high kick by Mezger as he strings together his strikes. Crisp low kick by Silva. Silva explodes in on Mezger and clips him, then grabs a clinch. But Mezger punches his way out, and Quadros through this whole series has been gleeful.
Good low kick by Wanderlei. Wanderlei coming in with the left right. Mezger in the Muay Thai clinch. This is not. Oh, good left hand by Mezger.
They trade furious punches to no avail. Mezger then fires an errant 1-2.
Now, I don't. Damn it! It's one of those times I forgot to write exactly the time. This is the second time tonight Eddie tells me not to blink.
People, don't blink.
Now, I don't. Damn it! It's one of those times I forgot to write exactly the time. This is the second time tonight Eddie tells me not to blink.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm getting pissed the fuck off. You keep telling me what not to do, asshole. Yes. Don't fucking tell me not to blink. I'm gonna watch the fights however the fuck I want, okay? Alright? Good.
Silva wades in again, and then they briefly clinch. Then Mezger knees and socks Silva on the exit. Silva flies in again, they clinch, and on the break, Mezger sticks Silva with a sharp high kick. Solid inside leg kick by Silva, and then he fakes it a second time before firing a rocket right into Mezger's head. Mezger is rocked, and then Silva pounces on top of him. He loses position, and Mezger grabs his foot, to which Mezger uses the get on top. He fires a knee, and then Silva escapes. Bravo warns us, don't blink.
Way out, and Mezger.
Oh! Guy Mezger's rocked! Guy Mezger's rocked! Oh, Wanderlei all over him! Oh, he's wobbled. His knees are wobbled. People, don't blink.
The men tie up. Yeah, the men tie up and move to the corner. Silva gets double underhooks, throws a body knee, then fires 1, 2, 3, 4 punches as Mezger flees. Solid uppercut, hook, and then straight by Mezger. Wild trading by both men as they scrap. Mezger steps in to throw a straight left, and Silva counters with a vicious hook. He secures a half clinch and wails on Mezger's face. Sloppy trading, and Mezger nearly falls as Silva gives him a right. As Mezger floats against the ropes, Silva calmly pops him with a right, and Mezger crumbles to the mat.
Oh, Mezger firing back. This is a war, folks.
Mezger coming back.
Wanderlei's on him like a pit bull.
Oh, Guy Mezger showing great heart. Oh!
Wanderlei rocks Guy Mezger. Uh-oh, headbutt. Mezger's in trouble. Mezger's in trouble.
Deep trouble.
Wow, Wanderlei Silva winner by KO at 3 minutes and 40 seconds of the first round. Mezger gets to go home with a nice lump over his right eye. Ew, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that, but I mean, I gotta say, I fucking love. This is. I was starting to think about this, and unfortunately, my memory sucks. We haven't seen that many TKOs.
You mean outright stoppages of someone getting pummeled? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's not with these guys. Usually, if you have Igor in the ring,
right. But even then, he's knocked out. He knocked out Goodridge, who knocked out. You know,
yeah.
He fell into the ropes.
Yeah, there's only been a couple that have been completely knocked out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, it's impressive to see it, plain and simple.
Yep, and wow, yeah, what a fight. This was one hell of a fight. Silva gets on the mic and can barely breathe. And a bit of foreshadowing, he says he'd like to fight Sakuraba the most.
He's showing it right now.
Gostaria de agradecer a todas as pessoas que me apoiaram no Brasil, que incentivaram, a todo o público japonês, aos organizadores do Pride, minha família, meu pai, e dizer que agora, a próxima etapa, eu quero lutar com o Sakuraba, representando bem o Brasil, se Deus quiser, mais uma vez no Pride. Domo arigato.
Great.
Knocking out
Nice.
Diamond. Now in his post-fight interview, Wanderlei challenged Sakuraba.
He says he wants to fight Sakuraba the most.
Yeah,
And who doesn't? Who doesn't? Everybody wants a piece of Sakuraba.
That does it for Silva versus Mezger. Good vibe. Any final thoughts here on Silva and Mezger?
Like I said, I like this match. It's a striking match. It was not only a striking match, it was to a certain degree an even striking match. You know, they both delivered their own blows. So I was a fan of it. I was a fan of this. It redeemed my enthusiasm for the event after that fucking shitty first fight. So continue this shit.
This was an awesome fight. Mezger came in as the technician and Silva was the bar brawler. It turned a little sloppy, but that's what Silva is good at. He takes a technician, drags them into a war, and that's how he capitalizes. It was non-stop action and had a satisfying conclusion. Excellent fight. 10 out of 10 for me.
One second. And Eddie Bravo, if you're listening, I blinked like fucking 15 times, asshole, just to spite you, bitch.
So what would become of our two kick-punch badasses here? Wanderlei would return in short order for Pride 11, Battle of the Rising Sun, in October of 2000, where Gilbert Yvel will await him. As for Mezger, he wouldn't return until Pride 12, Cold Fury, where Alexander Otska would try his hand at the Pancrase veteran. Before then, Mezger would appear at FFC, Freestyle Fighting Championships, in November of 2000. For that result, though, fans, you'll have to check in on episode 14. See you around, boys!
No, Silva.
Yeah, here he comes, Ricco Rodriguez from the USA, former Abu Dhabi Submission Wrestling World Champion.
I tell you what, I think Giant Ochiai's bit off a little more than he can chew. Ochiai is one tough guy, but Ricco Rodriguez is the most well-rounded fighter at his weight in the world. Brown belt in jiu-jitsu, an extensive wrestling background, and his strikes have become so powerful. I think this one's going to be quick and brutal.
You know, it's interesting because Ricco Rodriguez is the current king of the...
Our third fight of the evening sees a returning Ricco Rodriguez taking on newcomer Takayuki Okada, also known...
Suave.
He should get it. That should be his nickname. Okada, also known as Giant Ochiai.
Okay, I was gonna ask what the fuck his name is, because I just got the giant part. I couldn't understand like what they were saying after, because I mean, fucking Quadros and Eddie, they I don't know what they were fucking saying. I kept trying to listen to it. I'm like, what are they saying? What are they saying? What are they saying? I'm like, I couldn't fucking get it. So for my notes, I just have Giant.
Yeah, you can just call him Giant. I'm sure that's what he responds to. Ricco was 23 years old and had an MMA record of 6-1. As for Okada, or Ochiai, he's from Japan and was 27 years old at the time with an MMA record of 0-1. Ricco returns after his decision victory over Big Daddy Goodridge and looks to continue his winning ways against Okada. But just who is this Takayuki fellow anyway?
Do you know who he is? he looks like if I decided it would be a good idea to do MMA. Motherfucker's pudgy as hell, fucking giant afro, hair fucking everywhere. Like, sweet heavens, I've never seen such a fucking hairy bastard.
When he comes to the ring, he wears an afro wig over his actual afro. It's the stupidest fucking thing.
I know, but I see him, I'm like, it makes the common man like myself think, maybe I have a chance at MMA.
Yes. Takayuki is an accomplished judo and Saido Kaikan practitioner. He had appeared in the amateur division of Shuto, placing second in the All Japan Amateur Shuto Championship of 98 and 99. Okada's only MMA fight happened at Ultimate Boxing, Pride vs. Saikendo, in June of 2000, where he took on Igor Borisov, a man we'll see later tonight, against Mark Kerr. Okada would lose to Borisov via TKO after 7 minutes of fighting. Pre-fight, just take a look at this Ochiai motherfucker here. Is this for real?
Heavens, dude. Like, this son of a bitch is like, by the way, I mean,
his fight highlight is fucking her.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, but I do have a question here, listeners, because I don't know enough, and you guys might know more than me. This has to be uncommon, right? Japanese people are not this fucking hairy, right?
Yeah.
Because I've never seen like any fucking Asian, like I've never seen someone this fucking hairy. I mean, hair everywhere.
We get an exclusive look behind the curtain as both men prepare to come out, and Ricco looks pensive, while Ochiai looks like he's just happy to be there. We get Ricco's walk-in, but giant Ochiai gets his entrance left on the cutting room floor. Could Pride be spoiling their own fight once again? Giant Ochiai looks like a dumpy, goofy guy with an afro and glasses, and there is definite opposite in attitudes for this fight.
See, all I need is an afro, and I can be that guy.
And holy shit, Ochai's back is hairy as fuck. It looks like me when I decide to stop shaving my back. And for some reason...
Which is always, listeners, it's motherfucking always.
It is pretty hairy right now. A close-up of...
Stop taking your clothes off, for the love of God, man.
For some reason, a close-up of Ochai's ass gets a laugh from the crowd.
In only his second NHB fight, Ricco...
What does his ass say? Insert cocks here? Oh, anyway, let's get into it. Round 1. Leg kick by Ricco starts us off, then a grazing 1-2. Push kick by Ricco that lands on the thigh. There's that shit spinning back kick by Ricco. Dope! Doesn't look any better than it did at Pride 9. Ochiai then spanks his own ass to taunt Ricco, and Ricco can hardly contain his anger as he retard rage runs at Ochiai and he shoots in from about 10 miles away. Despite the fact that Ochiai can hardly be bothered to try and avoid the takedown, through some miracle he manages to keep himself upright. That has to be the most damning thing I could say against Ricco's shooting ability as I can write.
No, no, I'm gonna fight you on this one, because it's gotta be really hard, because Giant is not that tall of a person.
No, he's wide.
Exactly. So he probably has a fucking low ass center of gravity and a lot of weight behind it. So trying to take him down, probably not the easiest fucking thing there is to be.
True. But Ochiai didn't even try and defend it. He just sort of stood there.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure that afro grants him some sort of fucking ability.
Yeah, maybe like wind resistance. Ricco peppers Ochiai with knees and they clinch in the corner. Ricco pulls away and punches Ochiai in the stomach with wide hooks before deciding to punch Ochiai in the face. Ochiai tries to cover up, but Ricco is all over him. Ochiai fires back and then sends out an even worse kick than Ricco's back kick, which winds up stuck in the ropes. That array of striking force definitely has made Ricco think twice, and now he is more hesitant to charge in. Ricco shoots in, and this time Ochiai actually sprawls, which is more than enough needed to stop Ricco's shoot. Ochiai holds Ricco in a half guillotine, and they are up against the ropes. Ricco gets his arms under Ochiai, and he powers him up and over in a very impressive slam.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful body slam.
Nice show of strength, and Bravo really liked it. Ricco is now in side control. For some reason, Ricco patty cakes the ring before he sloppily goes for mount, which he misses and he's fallen down into half guard. Hilarious bit where Bravo says, expect him to pass, he will pass. Quadros queries, pass the guard, right? To which Bravo quietly mutters, yes. Then it's just a matter of time, Steve.
Expect him to pass, he will pass, he does want the mount.
Pass the guard, right?
Just a matter of time, Steve.
2 good shots by Ricco, and he stays busy in half guard. Ricco suddenly steps his free leg over Ochiai's body and falls back for a knee bar, but he doesn't have it secure enough, and Ochiai simply kicks him away. Ricco is then very lethargic to stand as Ochiai is to his feet before him. They trade punches, then a Superman-like punch from Ricco that misses, and they clinch again. Ricco appears to punch Ochiai in the dick, to which Ochiai shouts, ow!
And he clinched on the corner.
The ref was on the other side of the ring though, and he didn't see nothing. Ricco with a pillow soft knee to Ochiai's thigh, then some body knees to Ochiai's flabby belly. Ricco tries to muscle Ochiai down, but comes away with nothing, and then Ochiai tries a hip toss, but he doesn't finish it as the men fall and Ricco gets on top in half guard. Then he moves into mount. Ochiai decides to spin and give up his back, to which Ricco tries to secure a rear naked choke. Ochiai tries to turn out of it, but just kind of stops. Ricco pulls him to the ground. Ochiai gets to his knees and then turns back toward the mat once again, just as 5 minutes pass. Ochiai back to his knees and Ricco rides him around, then back onto his side. Ricco tries to set up an armbar and Ochiai turns and Ricco takes mount. Ricco gives Ochiai a deep hug and tries to smother him. And what do you know? It actually works as Ochiai is suddenly tapping. Ricco Rodriguez, winner at 6 minutes and 4 seconds of the first round.
The only chance Ochiai here. Oh, he's tapped, it's over.
Yeah, he smothered it. Chest engaged smother move by Ricco Rodriguez.
The winner is Ricco Rodriguez.
Big win for Ricco. Big win.
Ochiai gets on the mic to scream inanely.
Now Ochiai has the mic.
And then Ricco shares a few words for the fans.
Why would you let the loser get on the microphone?
I know, why? It's like,
Jesus Christ. No, you just fucking lost. And not only, once again, not only did you lose, but you didn't fucking do shit.
Right.
So don't get on that fucking microphone. I don't even care what the fuck you're saying. You can say sorry to your fans or whatever, because they were chanting for him like no fucking tomorrow.
Yeah,
the crowd fucking loves their Japanese people, but you were a fucking failure this fight, so get the fuck off the microphone.
Ochiai is a fan favorite, but he lost, so yeah, why is he getting on the mic before Ricco? Unless he got on the mic to say, you know, give Ricco your applause or whatever.
Which he didn't. Because no, think about it. It's not like he got the mic and then like pointed to Ricco. I don't speak Japanese. I'll give you that. So I fucking don't know what he said. But none of the way he was acting when he had the microphone seemed to be A, admitting defeat, or B, saying, hey, my opponent's awesome. Neither one of those things seemed to me. So to me, is this asshole lost, got on the mic and said, oh, whoops, I can do better, and then fucking left. I'm like, no, don't get on the fucking mic ever again.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. What the fuck is Ochiai doing? Any thoughts on the fight here before we move on?
I do have one thought. Does Steven Quadros know who's in the ring?
Sometimes.
I'm just saying, because I believe he called him Matsui. I think he called him a couple different names before he settled back down. But like, it's like the fight's over. It's like, oh, Matsui. I'm like, that's not Matsui in the ring unless I missed something.
Yeah. I'll say this about this barn burner of a fight. Ricco isn't the best fighter out there, but someone hoping for an upset a la Fujita versus Kerr was mistaken. Ochiai didn't pose much threat, and his tools seemed lacking at this point. Ricco, despite his god-awful shoot, is still diverse enough in his skill set to give many guys a challenge, and this one wasn't even close. So what would become of our two ham-fisted fisters here? Ricco Rodriguez would return to action at Pride 12. Cold Fury later on in December of 2000. There, he'll take on John Marsh. No relation to Stan Marsh. As for Giant Ochiai, we wouldn't see him back in Pride until Pride, The Best, Volume 1, way off in 2002, where a monster awaits him. Soichi Nishida, the monster! Oh man, that's gonna be bad for Soichi. See you then, boys!
Yes or no? With the same hand.
Coleman, push, massage my stomach a bit, push harder. Make a fist and roll it around.
Our fourth bout of the evening sees a returning Big Daddy Goodridge taking on a returning Gilbert Yvel. Big Daddy was 34 years old and had an MMA record of 10-11. Yvel, meanwhile, was 24 years old and had a record of 22-5. Both men are back after decision losses at Pride 9, and they look to correct their losing ways with their flying fists.
You know, having them side by side when they get in the ring, it's almost like a before and after, like a workout video. Yeah. You have Gilbert, and the before is like this slanky motherfucker, and then like the after is that Daddy Goodridge, motherfucking buff ass bastard. So that's like, I was looking at that, I'm like, I was actually just laughing. I'm like, oh my god.
Pre-fight, we get some more awesome backstage looks where a shirtless Mark Coleman is seen prepping Gary Goodridge. Meanwhile, Yvel works the pads. Quadro says that Goodridge saw the success of Vitor Belfort's ground game against Yvel in Pride 9, and so he brought in the king of ground and pound to hopefully replicate that in this fight. Bravo says it's a strategy we have never seen from Goodridge. Let's get into it. Round 1. The men feel each other out with no strikes thrown yet. Suddenly, Yvel winds up and unleashes a devastating left head kick that clobbers Goodridge. Big Daddy collapses and is outright KO'd. Gilbert doesn't even attempt to throw another strike as the ref waves the fight off.
He came right out and threw a kick and got taken down immediately.
Big high kick! The fight is over! One huge kick! Gilbert Yvel making a huge statement! One kick! That's what Thai boxing's all about! You can't stand there against a guy with lightning in his foot like that!
What the hell? Honestly, I was first of all, hey Eddie, this is the fight you should have told me not to blink it.
Yes.
But two, no, like the kick honestly didn't seem like it connected that hard.
I think it caught him on the temple, and if you catch somebody in the temple...
Well, no, I understand. I understand how he got knocked down, but like just and in the replays you can tell. But just like straight out when the fight was happening, the camera angle didn't make it seem like that kick hit that hard. But holy shit, Gary was down and out.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, no response. Like instant flash KO.
Yeah.
Gilbert Yvel, winner via stunning KO after 28 seconds of the first round. Holy shit. There is much excitement in Yvel's corner and sullen faces, meanwhile, on Goodridge's concerned friends and family in the ring. Yvel gets on the mic and talks about the fight against Belfort and how it was his first fight in Pride and the rules were different than he was accustomed.
They're jumping up.
Last time I fight Victor Belfort was a very good fight, but for me it was the first time in Pride. It was the The rules were a little bit different. It was a big fight. Today I feel more comfortable, and this is what I always try to show you. Kicking, punching, so fast and so hard as possible. Thank you.
He is one dangerous man.
Now, if you're going to fight Gilbert Yvel and you don't know how to defend against punches and kicks, you better just run in there and try and take him down.
Well, it's good to see Gary up
fight
and walking around. He's all right.
He dedicated his fight to the great K1 champion who passed away a couple days ago, Andy Hoog. That's a very classy move. Andy Hoog, one of the greatest K1 fighters, which is a kickboxing event. Gilbert Yvel dedicating his fight to Andy Hoog.
Andy Hoog definitely smiling up in heaven.
And then he decides to dedicate his win to Andy Hoog, Dutch kickboxer who had passed away only 3 days prior. I gotta eat this jelly bean here. It's fucking me up. Good vibe. Talk for a little bit about Goodridge versus Yvel.
All right, man. Let's be fucking honest. This is definitely, I don't know if an upset because I don't know who the fuck Gilbert is, but this is definitely the what the fuck moment of the event because you expected this fight. It's Big Daddy Goodridge against anybody. So you expected at least a couple minutes of some striking, maybe some grappling, whatever. Never did you expect that it'd be Big Daddy going down this fucking soon. Right. Plain and simple, man. Like, you know, Big Daddy Goodridge is the man that when he gets hit, fucking taunts his opponent to kiss him. Yeah. This is the kind of man he is. So I never thought one hit could fucking take him down. I didn't think that was physically possible. Plain and simple.
We all know Goodridge is a puncher. His boxing is good, but I would think someone as diverse as Yvel would give him problems, though the outcome was still shocking. A good fight, and although it was tough to see Goodridge lose in that way, because we love him, we know he will be back. So what would become of our two tall, dark, and awesome fighters here? Both men would make a quick return at Pride 11, Battle of the Rising Sun, only 2 months later in October, on October 31st, where Yvel will take on Wanderlei Silva and Goodridge would take on newcomer Yoshiaki Yatsu, a Japanese pro wrestling star. Can you say fix? See you boys at Pride 11.
Mark, how you feel tonight?
I'm feeling good, Steve, thanks.
So what are we going to see tonight from Mark Kerr?
Better performance than last time. I'm just a lot better condition, a lot better shape, a lot more focused right now. You know, I just want to go out and have a fearless, dominant fight and just show them that I'm the best fighter in the world right now.
You seem like you're back to having fun with the game.
Yeah, it seems kind of like an oxymoron. You don't put fun and fighting together, but this is there is fun in it. It's great to be an entertainer. It's great to be out in an arena like this and you know, fight for the Japanese American fans. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
It's a pleasure and good luck tonight.
Thank you, Steve.
In the blue corner, from the United States of America, Mark Kerr!
I'll tell you what, Steve, a year ago, Mark Kerr was considered unbeatable. He was the most feared fighter in the sport. But he's had a couple of subpar performances, and he knows he needs to win tonight. He needs to win big to get back on top. In his way, Borisov Igor from Russia, world champion in Sambo, he thinks he can keep Mark Kerr on the downslide using leg locks and arm bars. Tonight, we find out.
You know, it's interesting you should say the last year because Mark told both of us that he has basically just gotten back into the groove of, rather than the last year where he was fighting to not to lose, now he's just going in there and fighting, and he's taking all the pressure off of him.
And you might notice he's not as cut as he usually is. He's not worried about looking good. He's thinking about feeling healthy, getting in the ring, taking care of business, and having fun, most of all.
You know, one of the things about him, like you say, he's not cut. Well, he's still pretty cut, but not compared to what he used to be. But one of those things had to do with his diet because he had a blood sugar problem.
In the red corner,
Okay, here he comes. It's the mystery man. We don't know a great deal about him other than the fact that he is the world Sambo champion. And he fought against Giant Ochiai, put him away in Ultimate Boxing a couple months ago, and looked good in doing so. A tremendously conditioned athlete, and really confident, Eddie.
Well, like you said, he's a champion in Sambo. He won the World Cup in 1993 in Spain. But he's been training a lot of kicks lately. He's comfortable with his hands. He loves leg locks, obviously, with the Sambo background. And he loves arm locks. I think he's in for a war.
I think he's in for a war, but you know, it's hard to make an absolute prediction on a gentleman like this, because we've seen fighters come out of Russia like Igor Vovchanchyn that we knew nothing about, and all of a sudden they just dominate the sport. So it's going to be a tough one. But
Our fifth bout of the evening sees a returning Mark Kerr taking on newcomer Igor Borisov. Mark Kerr was 31 years old and had an MMA record of 12-1 with one no contest. Igor, from Russia, was 36 years old at the time and had an MMA record of 1-0. Mark Kerr is back after the stunning decision loss to Kazuyuki Fujita at the 2000 Grand Prix and looks to get back on the horse against a Russian bear fighter. But just who is this Igor Borisov? Igor Borisov, or is it Borisov Igor? Whatever.
I think it's Borisov Igor.
Yes.
I think Igor's the last name, honestly.
It's kind of weird. Whatever way you arrange his name, he is a champion Sambo fighter. Was born someplace in Russia, and I'm not exactly sure where. His official pro record at this point only included one fight, a TKO win over Giant Ochiai at the event called Ultimate Boxing Pride vs. Saikundo. Funny story, I was looking for this event, found it, but couldn't download it from the site I found it on, so I gave up until I found Igor Borisov has his own YouTube channel. No shit. He apparently is a guitar player and musician.
Дорогие ребята, скоро выходные дни. Выезжайте в лес, на природу, на лыжах, на санках. Идите в спортзал, не сидите дома у компьютеров, отдыхайте. Вот, в принципе, об этом и песенка.
Thankfully, Igor's YouTube channel featured not only the Ochiai fight, also some of his other MMA bouts he was in prior, ones that weren't listed on his record, including a bare-knuckle tournament appearance in 1998 in an event apparently arranged by Oleg Toktarov, who imported fat, drunk American fighters to get the shit kicked out of them by Russian dudes.
Oh, I'm okay for that event. That sounds like a magnificent event.
Good stuff. So I can't say for certain what Igor's actual record is, as it's poorly kept, but he's no stranger to no holds barred, that's for sure. And shout out to his YouTube page. I'll put a link in the description. Go check it out.
And by the way, I had a comment here, and it definitely makes more sense now, knowing he plays in a band. Just what kind of person he is, because holy hell, those are really purple shorts.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, he's not a bad-looking guy.
No, but he represents everything you think a Russian might look like in the 90s.
I originally had some note on here. I think I deleted it, but I had a note about the physiques of our two men. I said, man, these guys look fucking amazing. And then I realized I started to sound a little too gay, so I took it out.
He doesn't want to give it away too easily.
Yes. Pre-fight, Mark Kerr gets an interview with Quadros, and his hair has fully grown back since the shaved look he sported at the 2000 Grand Prix finals. He looks a lot better than the Grand Prix. In his interview with Quadros, he says that he's in a lot better condition and shape and wants to go out and have a fearless, dominant fight. As he walks to the ring, Mark Kerr looks like a giant compared to his tiny, unassuming cornerman. And he also has Ricco Rodriguez come to the ring with him. Quadros tells a story
Ricco Suave.
Quadros tells the story of Mark Kerr and his blood sugar issues at the Grand Prix finals.
But one of those things had to do with his diet, because he had a blood sugar problem which affected his performance, at least against his last fight against Kazuyuki Fujita, where he ran out of gas because of his blood sugar deficiency. His dietitian told him, look, just eat whatever you want. And Mark said to me, and this is kind of funny, that it doesn't matter what you look like. It's not a beauty contest in there. He said, it doesn't matter if you got a 12-pack, a 6-pack, or a 9-pack, just as long as you win.
Both men, I do have a little bit about her. Both men look in great shape, and I think Borisov looks like a total badass. I really do like Borisov.
I will say this. Speaking of the shape the fighters are in, this is literally the best. Like, it should be used in a classroom. This is the best representation of what the Cold War is like.
100%.
Like, this is the Cold War. You have Mark Kerr, giant, muscly motherfucker, whatever, and then you have Igor, who's fit as hell, but not a giant, and he's wearing like ridiculous purple shorts.
Yeah.
So it's like, honestly, better Rocky movie than Rocky. Just saying that.
This is capitalism versus Soviet communism right here. Anyway, let's get into it. Round 1. The men come out and Mark Kerr rips off a very exaggerated leg kick. There was a lot of hate on that one, and I can tell Mark Kerr is out to prove a point with this fight.
America's better.
High kick by what it is. High kick by Igor, but blocked by Kerr. Another hard leg kick by Kerr. Then he tries another one right after as Igor turned away. Kerr goes for the legs, getting Igor down to the mat. Kerr works the left side of Igor's body, then his head. Igor briefly pushes Kerr down, wiggling his hips, but Kerr gets back onto him. As Igor tries to extend Kerr's arm, Kerr finds himself in position for a neck crank, which he applies lightly at first and then with extreme prejudice. Igor is tapping out. Mark Kerr victor after 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the first round.
There's two things to note here. First one, hilarious how seconds before the tapping out, we have the commentator saying, "Oh, is that a neck crank?" Because Igor is one of the more flexible MMA fighters around.
Spin out, go for an armbar. He's not in trouble. Doesn't seem to be worried about the position at all. Maybe he's one of these guys who's got a real flexible body.
This is not going to matter. That means nothing to a fighter like Igor. Haha! Joke's on you, fucker.
Yes.
Second, at the end of the fight, you have Kerr, getting out, and Igor getting taken out in a stretcher, right?
Yeah.
Eddie fucking Bravo just saying, "Oh, he's okay."
He's all right.
Yeah. Are you fucking retarded, man? Like, at this point is when I'm like, I don't fucking like this guy. Plain and simple. He's getting taken out in a stretcher. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
After the fight here, Mark Kerr tries to replicate Boss Rutan to little success. Quadros hilariously says Igor is going to be seeing a chiropractor before the stretcher gets pulled out. That's unfortunate. But water under the bridge, as Igor seems okay by looking at his YouTube, so no one needs to worry. He didn't have like a severed spine or anything like that. We can make jokes about it. It's all right. So fair game to Quadros. You go get that chiropractor appointment there, Igor. Kerr gets on the mic to say that he is fighting for the fans. Then he wants to show the fans he is the most dominant fighter in the world.
Talk to us.
MC Mark Kerr.
I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out, seeing me tonight. And I want you all to know I'm in this ring fighting for you. Every single one of you, every time I step in, I am here for you.
今日ここに試合を見に来てくれた一人一人のファンの皆様、この試合を一人一人の皆様に捧げます。皆様のために戦いました。ありがとうございました。
Mark Kerr paying respects to the fans, his lifeblood, and he knows it.
I just want to say tonight and every night after, I want to show you the fans that I am the most dominant fighter in the world.
Fuck me. He definitely...
No, thank you.
He definitely looked to make a statement with this one. Good vibe. Any final thoughts on Kerr versus Borisov?
Yes. My final thought is simple, and it connects to my initial thought in this fight. This is clearly the best representation of the Cold War. America slaughtered that shit.
America wins again.
No, but honestly, it's one of those things that I do find hilarious because, like I said, I have no knowledge of these fighters. I have no idea who the fuck they are or whatever. The commentators do. You have Quadros, who supposedly knows all these people. And he's like, oh, he's the most flexible guy. 2 seconds later, fucker's tapping out. And that just made me laugh. Like, literally just like, I saw that, I'm like, ha, even I could tell that was a fucking hell of a neck crank.
Yeah. One person you don't want to get a hold of a neck crank is Mark Kerr.
Well,
Mark Kerr or Mark Coleman.
I mean, I will say this, though. At this point in time, as any kind of fighter, not like a top card fighter, why would you ever go against either Mark Kerr or Mark Coleman?
Right.
Other than but because even if it's a good purse, it's not worth it. Because you're gonna get fucking hurt.
Right. How much did it cost for Igor to get his neck fixed?
No shit.
Mark Kerr, I'll say this. Mark Kerr had a point to prove with this fight. Just a few months prior, he was considered one of the baddest fighters on the planet. And the questionable loss to Vovchanchyn and then the loss to Fujita, Kerr knew he had to give a dominant performance. And while you could have been fooled into thinking that Borisov was merely a tomato can and nothing more than a tune-up match, a valid point, Borisov was still a Sambo expert and definitely a dangerous fighter. I will say this though, only amateurs tap out the fucking neck cranks. So there's that.
I would tap out.
Yeah. So what would become of our two crooked neck champions here? Mark Kerr, I was going to say Igor. Mark Kerr would return at Pride 12 Cold Fury, where a rematch with Igor Vovchanchyn awaits him. As for Borisov, this would be it for his Pride career and also his MMA career.
Wow, even MMA?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He would retire to play guitar and hang out with a bunch of weightlifting bros, where to this day he partakes in lifting challenges. Go see his YouTube page. It's really quite...
Oh my God, I'm going to have to now. Jesus, that sounds amazing.
See you around, Igor or Borisov. However, whatever your first name is.
Here with Igor Vovchanchyn from Ukraine. Igor, it's a big night tonight. You're facing Enson Inoue. How do you feel?
Сегодня большой для тебя момент. Встретишься с Энсоном Inoue. Как ты себя чувствуешь?
Прекрасно, как всегда.
As always, I'm ready to fight.
А лучше не бывает.
Can't feel better.
Я тоже давно жду.
Okay, I understand that you train a lot in your room there in the hotel. What is the training in the room like?
Мы так поняли, что тренируешься ты здесь в основном в комнате, в гостиничной. Как выглядит такая тренировка в комнате?
Короткая тренировка. Боксерская лапа. То есть, в принципе, ничего лишнего.
A little bit stretching, exercises, boxing, punching. 15 minutes is enough.
Okay, very good. It's a pleasure and good luck tonight, Igor.
Удачи.
Большое спасибо.
Our sixth fight of the evening sees a returning Igor Vovchanchyn taking on a returning Enson Inoue. Igor was 27 years old at the time and had an MMA record of 43-3 with one no contest.
Fucking Igor, man. The beast from Russia.
The beast from the East. Enson, meanwhile, was 33 years old and had an MMA record of 10-4. Enson is back after his grueling defeat against Mark Kerr at the 2000 Grand Prix opening rounds. Igor himself returns after a short doctor stoppage victory against Daijiro Matsui at Pride 9. Pre-fight Quadros...
I still hate Matsui for that fight, by the way.
Why?
For the Igor fight? Because it's one of those fights where it's like, why? Why? He got beat the entire time.
I think we can say we'll be able to say once, we're all said and done with Matsui, every one of his fights will be why.
Well, no, and I'm with ya, 100%.
Pre-fight, Quadros gets a word in with Igor in a rather awkward interview. Definitely not Quadros' best work. Enson has taken a cue from his bald brother Egan, who should really... I kind of clown on Egan here because I follow Egan on Pride Resurrection, and he always posts these fucking newsletters he has about his fucking stretching yoga that he has some class in fucking
you mean on Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter.
Oh.
Nobody ever shares or looks at his newsletter. I always share it and say check out Egan's latest. And I hope he doesn't get wise to the fact that I'm clowning on him. So, but I love him. He's a good guy. Enson has taken a cue from his bald brother Egan, who you should really follow on Twitter and get access to his latest newsletters. Not only that, but he has plans to participate in an MC Hammer revival band after the fight. Hence the reason.
Wait
wearing the giant
wait a minute. MC Hammer revival band. Yes. Holy shit.
That's why he's wearing the big pants.
Dear listeners, I quit this show. I'm going to dedicate my life to being part of the MC Hammer revival band. It has been a pleasure. But this definitely sounds like an opportunity I cannot miss for the life of me.
But seriously, apparently it was Eddie Bravo's own suggestion that led to Enson wearing the gi pants.
We were talking to him about wearing gi pants.
I told him it's a good idea because if Igor's going to be in his guard, if you could take Igor down, why not wear the gi pants? It's a lot easier to get submissions.
And that he believes it can only help Enson in the fight. We'll see.
Which is fucking stupid. Eddie should know better.
Yeah.
Wearing any kind, wearing any kind of clothing other than normal shorts that rules regularly you cannot grab.
Right.
You should not do that. You're giving, like, yes, Eddie was saying, it's like, oh, it's easier to do, like, grapples and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's also easier for your opponent to do the same to you. Right. So, no, any advantage that you might think you have, you are giving your opponent as well, plain and simple. So never fucking wear that shit.
Bravo, keep your fucking suggestions to yourself. Round 1.
I will keep blinking, Bravo, just to fucking spite you.
That's right. Enson rushes in with a straight left that may have found its mark, and then the men clinch. Enson tries to move Igor around, and then Igor swings out with punches. But Enson fires back, and this has turned into an all-out war.
Trying to change his game.
He goes in with that right hand.
Oh, he's trying to take him down.
Trying to take him down through the right hand out of the gate. Vovchanchyn's falling back, training with Igor Vovchanchyn. Vovchanchyn in the gunfight here. Enson like throwing bombs.
Wild bombs are thrown by both men, but Enson is definitely getting the worst of it as Igor lands and then flings Enson down to the mat.
Okay, at this point, here's my thing. We know Enson's history. We know Igor's history. Literally. I'm not even a fighter fan. Even I can tell you, Enson, why the fuck are you going toe-to-toe in a punching match with Igor?
Yeah.
You're not a big guy. You're not a punching mass. Like, you don't have the striking power. Like, I understand if someone like Gary Goodridge, Mark Kerr, those guys, sure, they have a chance going on a punching match with Igor. You don't fucking have that.
This reminds me of the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns where he says, you think I would pin all my plans on a fist fight with you?
Yeah, no shit.
You gotta use your advantages here. Why are you throwing bombs with Igor Vovchanchyn, who can only throw fucking bombs?
I know. Every punch from Igor, man. He's killed bears with his punches.
Yes. Enson is down on the mat, and then Igor pounces into his guard briefly as Enson is rolling and turning before they settle down and Igor gets into half guard. Someone is busted open as fresh blood is visible on the chest of Igor and on the arm of Enson, and it looks as though it's from Vovchanchyn, who likely carries around a lot of scar tissue and is easy to cut.
Yeah, a lot of scar tissue, I'll give him that, but his face looked hella fucked up.
Oh yeah, I thought he had 2 cuts. It looked
no, not even cuts. They didn't even look like cuts. They looked like bruises.
Yeah.
Like for some reason the hit was in such a spot that it bled on the inside without too much bleeding on the outside. Yeah, so it was like it was a huge fucking bruise.
It was bleeding, but it wasn't like gushing blood like you expect. In fact, it kind of stops bleeding.
Yeah, which makes me think that there's some slightly internal bleeding there, which makes his face look really fucking weird.
Both men throw punches as Igor bleeds all over Enson, and from these camera angles, I can see a slice on the top of Enson's forehead, making me believe that the damage to Igor came from a clash of heads, but I could be wrong. Igor delivers 2 nice lefts that bounce Enson's head on the mat. Enson then tries for an armbar, but Igor, who has only been submitted once in his career, is quick to recognize the attempt. We get a good shot of the ugly gash, or maybe gashes, on Igor's face. Yikes. Enson tries another armbar to no avail. Big lefts and rights from Igor onto Enson's head.
I will say this, for as much, okay, we've just seen Igor's face. It looks messed up. But when you think about the fact that Igor has landed better punches on Inoue's face, his face doesn't show it. Like, you can't really tell from Inoue that he's received such a beating.
No.
And it's really weird. I give him props for that because, you get punched in the face by Igor. I expect either bleeding, bruise, bump. He doesn't have either.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any of that.
More zingers from Igor as he abuses Enson's face, and more as Enson makes the mistake of pausing to look off into the crowd. Enson continues to take shots from a very active Igor, and at this point it would appear as though his jujitsu has failed him. 5 minutes pass in round 1, and the ref comes in to reposition our fighters. More hard rights from Igor, and Enson really needs to worry more about controlling Igor's wrist here instead of just laying back on the mat. Quadros and Bravo jostle over the potential of an armbar, as Quadros says that Igor has short arms and is hard to armbar. Bravo says anyone can be armbarred.
Enson looked like he was shifting his hips. Looked like he might be thinking armbar again.
Because Igor's arms are so short, he probably would be hard to armbar. Because his body is so thick and short and stubby. He's never been submitted with a straight armbar or a leg lock. There's that right hand again.
I'll tell you what, anybody can get armbarred.
But he hasn't been yet in his career.
And I mean, it's not only the short arms. Think about it this way: is how hard is it to armbar a striker? Especially someone like Igor that can land bombs. He has a lot of arm strength. Plain and simple is, and you know, his punches, when you look at them, most of his strength comes from, like, you know, the shoulder to the elbow. So you're not gonna get, like, his elbow's probably well fucking trained. You're not gonna be able to at least easily try to armbar him, because he's gonna be able to flex that a lot better than anybody else.
Yeah, I would think it would be really hard to do a Kimura, to do an Americana, or armbar on Igor.
Yeah, if you're going for Igor, honestly, if you're going for some sort of submission, aim for the legs.
Yeah, very true. In fact, his only submission loss, I think, came from a knee bar. He had a submission loss where he quit because the guy was putting his chin into his eyeball. Like,
yeah, no, you told me. Yeah,
but I think he had a legitimate knee bar submission loss early in his career. So that's the only way he's been submitted is by the leg.
Like, that's the thing is, once again, on Enson, on Inoue, what the fuck was his preparation for this fight? Because he started the fight going toe-to-toe with punches, stupid fucking idea, and then tries to go for an armbar. The fuck?
No idea. He's totally changed his game plan here now. Igor is slowed, but Enson shows no desire to try and make Igor guess with submission attempts. 7 minutes down. More passive-aggressive semantics, as Bravo mentions that Igor said that Enson's weakness is his chin, and Enson has proven that's not the case. Quadros replies, but he hasn't hit him on the chin. Bravo, a bit perturbed by Quadros here, says, it looks like he hit him on the chin about 50 times.
Igor said in his pre-fight interview that Enson's weakness is his chin. Yes, it's proven tonight that is not his weakness.
Well, he hasn't hit him on the chin yet. He's hit him on the top of the head, but if he hits him on the chin, we'll see.
I don't know, Steve, it looked like he hit him on the chin about 50 times.
No, he's hit him on the top of the head. He hasn't caught him clean on the chin yet.
Couple minutes to go.
Simmer down, boys. It's gonna be okay.
Man, honestly, Bravo just fucking pisses me off, man. Like, every fight he's had something to say that's fucking stupid. And I mean, at this, like, literally, like, at this point, and not even this point, earlier in this event, I'm already thinking, I miss Boss. I miss Boss.
Wrong move. Don't do that to El Guapo.
Because I will give them this. Eddie is trying too hard to try to, like, sneak in the play-by-play.
Yeah, he doesn't know his role.
He doesn't. With Boss, you know Boss is going to be that amazing color commentary with amazing fucking stories or ridiculous comments that you think, where is that coming from, Boss?
Right.
But he knows his role. Eddie, on the other hand, color commentary sucks, plain and simple. Yeah, keep your eyes open, don't blink. Or he tries to sneak in the play-by-play, which he is not going to match. He is never going to match Quadros in it.
This was the same thoughts I had. I like Eddie Bravo, I do, but he doesn't know his role here in this event. He's trying to be an analyst and play-by-play when he should be color commentary. You can't have a play-by-play guy who does analyst. That's Quadros. He does that.
Yeah.
And then another analyst. You can only have a second analyst if you're in a trio.
No, and here's the thing is, even if you could have a second analyst and a second play-by-play, that is only possible if both have the same knowledge. Eddie does not. Eddie is not at the fucking level that Quadros is. Plain and simple. Quadros has been doing this for far longer. He knows better. He knows how to do the play-by-play. He knows how to add the little analysis in there. And that's the thing is, when I started hearing Eddie at the beginning, because at the beginning I had no idea who the fuck this guy was. And then they started saying Eddie, and I'm like, fuck Eddie. There has been, to this point, you know, this is the third event where because the previous were post-recorded. This is the third event where Boss and Quadros do have chemistry. Oh, yeah. Eddie and Quadros do not.
No, yeah. I have some more to say about that. I'll get to it later. Igor improves the half guard and then tries to take full mount and nearly gets it before Enson saves himself. With 1 minute left, Igor tries again for mount and pretty much gets it, from which he begins to smash Enson's face.
Smash it indeed, Jesus Christ.
Hammer fist and bombs rain down on Enson, who is covering up, and I think he got hit in the eye with a fist or two. As the seconds wind down, Igor slows and Enson looks to have withstood the barrage and just might escape the round. The bell rings and Igor stands going to his corner, but Enson, he doesn't. Enson is flat on the mat and gets attended to by Egan, his brother. Egan drags Enson to his feet and then to his corner, and Enson simply collapses.
Yeah, he can't even get on the fucking bench.
His legs aren't even working.
I mean, like, here's the thing is, you say he wasn't blocking that barrage. He was he would try to block the front. Igor would hit the side. He would try to block the side. Igor would hit the front. And every one of Igor's punches, you could fucking tell, were fucking landing.
Yes. There's no way Enson can go on here. The doctor is there looking over Enson. Both commentators adamantly state that this fight is over, despite no call being made yet. Bravo calls it a great fight. As Enson is told some unwanted news, he begins shouting, "No!"
You know, in a way, I hope they stop it. No. He shouldn't go back out there because standing up, he's not got no shot. His head is still spinning. He's not going to make it. You know, Vovchanchyn will drop up. That fight is over.
The fight is over. It looked like he wanted to continue. Looked like he wanted to continue. The ref stepped in. The doctor stepped in. Stopped it.
And then the ref is waving off the fight. Igor Vovchanchyn is thus the winner after 1 minute of fighting via doctor stoppage. We don't get a clear shot of Enson, but the right side of his head looks like Elephant Man.
Yeah, no shit.
Fucking unbelievable. It was
fucking like, and that's the funny part is, you know, earlier in the fight I said for the punches that he's received, he's not showing it, and then that, like, literally that last minute, listeners, like, holy shit, really pay attention because those blows landed, and they landed fucking hard.
Yes. It looks like that MC Hammer revival get-together has been canceled. Shame.
The only Hammer that's getting revived is Igor's fucking punches, man.
Igor then gets on the mic and shares words with the crowd. Good vibe. Any thoughts on this barn burner of a fight?
All right, you know what? Once again, man. Once again. I love Igor. Igor's a fucking great fighter. Give him a challenge. Enson, I don't know where the fuck he prepared. I don't know who the fuck he listened to. Whoever it was, they should get slapped in the face.
Eddie Bravo.
I would not be fucking surprised. I would not be fucking surprised. Whoever the fuck he listened to should get fired, should get sent into a fucking volcano and sacrificed to the gods for mercy. Because why the fuck, A, in your preparation, would you think it's a good idea to fucking go toe-to-toe to punches? B, would you think it's a good idea to let Igor so easily get in your fucking guard when you know Igor is gonna, like, hammer blows from Igor? You can't block them.
Right.
Plain and simple. Stop doing stupid shit. But it's the same thing that we had in the first fight. this was not a match. This was a slaughter.
Very true.
And they are fucking boring to me. Well, not boring. I will say boring. They're pitiable to me.
Wow, that's all I can say. Yeah, you're right. Enson had the wrong fucking strategy, but in the beginning, it was a great fight. He did try and match Igor. He was competitive initially. He cut Igor, but then once it got to the mat, he didn't try and make Igor work, except punch his head. He didn't try and make Igor move. He didn't go for enough submissions. He wasn't threatening with anything. He was trying to punch back.
No,
he's jiu-jitsu. He's like a jiu-jitsu expert. And that's why Eddie Bravo was talking him up, because Eddie Bravo is a jiu-jitsu expert and he was friends with Enson. Where did his jiu-jitsu go? He didn't try any fucking jiu-jitsu.
I mean, once they hit the mat, he didn't try anything. No. Other than, hey, let me try to rotate my face so I don't get slammed in the face. Oh, wait, you fucking did.
Yes. Still, this is a great fight. Both men went to war. They put on a great show. Enson definitely is probably regretting it.
I disagree. It was not, to me, it was not a great match. To me, like you said, a great match would have been Enson hitting his own strengths.
Yeah.
He tried to hit Igor on his, and that's a terrible fucking idea.
Yes. Igor, unsurprisingly, proved to be too much for Enson. I could have called that a mile away. Still, nonetheless, 9 out of 10 from me. So, what would become of our two hefty, heavy hitters here? Igor Vovchanchyn would return at Pride 11, Battle of the Rising Sun, to take on his most toughest challenge yet. The great one, Nobuhiko Badass Kicker Takada.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Fuck you, Takada. Like, no, listeners, I don't know if you guys do, and you should. I say you should. We have a Twitter. And I say we, but it's the most dangerous man alive today, handles the Pride Twitter. And earlier this week of recording, because of the fact that Takada now has risen.
Yeah, he's rising, yeah.
Rising, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So all of a sudden, this son of a bitch here, the most dangerous man alive today, decided to tweet, "We appreciate you, Takada." To which I saw that tweet, and I was like, says who? And he's like, well, I've sometimes made the comment that he's okay, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. I've never made that comment. Plain and fucking simple. Every time this son of a bitch shows up on screen, I will tell you, fuck you, Takada.
So there's no way Takada reads the tweet. I know he can't read English. I was jokingly did tweet him out there. I do appreciate Takada, though. I can appreciate Takada for what he's done. He's a shitty fighter. He sucks. He can only buy wins. But, he's kind of responsible for Pride, and now he's a part of Rising, which is doing really well.
And I get that. But at the same time, he is the fucking douchebag that, because of the fact that he created Pride, and I don't know Rising because I haven't seen any of it, because of the fact that he created Pride, he thought he was main event material. Once, I allow it. 2 times, go suck a dick. 3 times, I hope, what's his name? Chin guy.
You're talking about Inoue?
Yeah, I hope Inoue slams you with his chin.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
I hate Takada, but I also kind of like Takada. It's kind of weird. I hate to say.
I don't like him at all. I just fucking hate him.
Anyway, let's move on. As for Enson, he wouldn't return to action until Pride 12, Cold Fury, where
probably that's by the time he fucking healed. Jesus Christ.
Where Heath Herring would step up to fight him. See ya, boys, then. Our 7th bout of the evening should have seen a returning Masaaki Satake taking on a returning Kazunari Murakami. Remember this dipshit from Pride 1? But whoops, their match was deleted. The DVD of this event does not include their bout.
Okay, I was wondering because you said 10 bouts, and I'm like, I don't have 10.
Yes. So I'm so sad we didn't get to see it because I had some good comments in here about these guys. We'll next see Satake return with a scary costume on Halloween night to take on Naoya Ogawa at Pride 11. See you then, Satake. As for Kazunari Murakami, remember this dipshit from Pride 1? He would not return to Pride ever again. Shame. Murakami would only have 2 more MMA fights in his career, first taking on Valid Ismail at UFO Legend in August of 2002. he would lose that one via TKO. His final fight would come at Jungle Fight 1 in September of 2003, beating Lee Young-gun, assumed real person, with a quick armbar after 1 minute.
Wait. You can't just, like, gloss over that. What do you mean, assumed real person?
I just assume he beats him in 1 minute with an armbar. So I think maybe someone fabricated that. But I do have video of the jungle fight, and again, it's hilarious. They adorned the whole ring with fucking jungle attire. Really awesome. Murakami would head off to wrestle men in various pro wrestling promotions after, including New Japan Pro Wrestling and Noah. He would once wrestle Enson Inoue at the NJPW Ultimate Crush 2 pay-per-view in 2003. And I actually bought video of this event for some reason. Off of some guy selling bootlegs. So sweet video included. He says
here. Bought, but he never used money. Wink, wink.
No, this one I actually did, but I paid the fucking bootlegger like $5 for it. I guess he still wrestles to this day, but I'm not sure. Although I must say, who the fuck cares? See you around, Kazunari Murakami. Remember this dipshit from Pride 1?
Here we go again. Your second fight after a little layoff. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. Just hardest part is getting here, climbing up all these stairs, going through all the doctor checks. I just want to ring the bell and let's do it.
Okay, so what are we going to see out there tonight?
I don't know. It depends on him. Could be see a submission. You can see a knockout. You can see leg kicks. You can pretty much see whatever he gives me. I'm just going to play it by ear, go out there and see what I can pick apart.
Okay, and there we have it. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
The king of the Lion's Den, Mr. Ken Wayne Shamrock, termed in professional wrestling in America, the world's most dangerous man. And he's coming out, he's in shape, he's lean in this fight, he dropped a couple pounds, probably looking more for speed, he's got strength to boot. Maurice Smith told me one time that he'd been on the mat with some strong guys, including Mark Coleman, and he said that Ken Shamrock was the strongest guy he'd ever been on the mat with.
Now, I'll tell you what, Fujita is a lot stronger than Ken Shamrock, bigger. We might see Ken Shamrock on his back, working the guard, something we haven't seen.
Well, you know, Ken has really worked a lot on his stand-up, and it really showed in his last fight, which was against Alexander Otska. He knocked him out with a left hook after a punch combination. Fujita is not strong on blocking punches. Okay, here he comes now. This is the proverbial bull in the china shop. Now, this guy is about 5'8", maybe 5'9", and he tips the scales at about 240. And there's not a lot of fat on this guy. Now, if that weren't a problem enough, he's the 3-time national wrestling champion here in Japan. So he does have wrestling skill. Not strong on submissions or strikes, but he makes it up for this mauling and brawling style.
You're right, Steve. His submission skills aren't that great. His stand-up skills equally not as great. Although he's been working on both of them. He's been working a lot of stand-up, been working a lot of submissions, and he actually said he doesn't like going toe-to-toe. He doesn't like going. He's he's feeling really comfortable with submissions. How far along he is with them, we'll find out tonight.
Okay, now he's coming into the ring with two well-known mixed martial art fighters who are professional wrestlers here in Japan. On his left, we have Don the Predator Fry, who's no stranger to mixed martial art fans around the world. He's won tournaments, he's knocked people out, he's beat Brazilians, he's fought Goodridge. On the right is Brian Johnston, another well-known mixed martial artist, both men making their livings in the New Japan Professional Wrestling Organization here. Both men no strangers to Master Antonio Inoue, who is looking on with pride at his student and protege, Kazuyuki Fujita.
We have a little bad blood coming in tonight. It's well known around the world that Don Fry does not like Ken Shamrock at all. Been talking a lot of trash on the internet.
Our eighth bout of the evening sees a returning Kazuyuki Fujita taking on a returning Ken Shamrock. Fujita was 29 years old at the time and had an MMA record of 4-1. Shamrock, meanwhile, was 36 years old with an MMA record of 24-5-2. Old Ken had a boot-slapping good time beating the snot out of poor Otsuka at the Grand Prix finals, while Fujita bowed out against Mark Coleman after slogging an upset over Mark Kerr. Now, the last disciple of Inoue takes on the world's most dangerous man.
I mean, every time I see Fujita, all I think of, that is the most wannabe Japanese mobster there ever was.
Yeah.
Like, just facial, like, he fucking literally bleached his eyebrows.
Yeah, I know. That's fucking weird.
That is so fucking weird. Like, I understand if you bleach your hair, sure, whatever, but your eyebrows and even your facial hair.
Yeah.
Because even his facial hair was not as dark as she should be. So I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Pre-fight, Ken Shamrock gets some words in with Quadros, who tells us what might happen in the fight. In the backstage footage, we get some ominous music as Ken works out and Fujita, with dyed hair and eyebrows, just kind of stands around. More smart mouth talk from Bravo, who totally steps on Quadros' statement from Maury Smith, who told Quadros that Shamrock is the toughest guy he's ever been on a mat with. Bravo says Fujita is a lot stronger than Shamrock.
Maurice Smith told me one time that he'd been on the mat with some strong guys, including Mark Coleman, and he said that Ken Shamrock was the strongest guy he'd ever been on the mat with.
Now, I'll tell you what, Fujita is a lot stronger than Ken Shamrock.
And when Fujita's name is announced, you can hear Lenny Hartz has turned the corner on her announcing style, and I would assume it was after this event that she would adopt her wild and crazy introduction style.
In the red corner from Japan, Kazuyuki Fujita!
Fujita comes to the ring with Don Fry in his corner and also Brian Johnston, who we talked a little bit about in the Grand Prix Finals episode. And a bit of foreshadowing from Bravo, who says there is some bad blood.
Bad blood.
Coming into this fight, as it's well known around the world that Don Fry does not like Ken Shamrock.
We have a little bad blood coming in tonight. It's well known around the world that Don Fry does not like Ken Shamrock.
And that in the rules meeting, Trey Teligman and Don Fry had a bit of a dust-up as Shamrock wasn't there.
I want to say, we get to see Chin Man. The Chin.
Yeah, we do a couple times.
Yeah,
because he's
like the fucking focus of this fight is not the fight, is the Chin Man.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, like every 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm spoiling this for you. Every 2 minutes, there's a shot of the Chin Man not being fucking happy.
Right.
Like, I don't even know. Like, he could be getting the best blowjob ever, and he would still not look happy.
Yeah, Fujita is the last disciple of Inoue, so he's the protege of fucking Antonio Inoue.
But I will say this: kind of weird to wear the word soul on your ass. Kind of weird.
Very weird. Shamrock gets some boos, surprisingly, despite being an adopted son of the country.
There he is, Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man. The crowd is giving him a lukewarm welcome. This is Japan, and Fujita is the hero.
But he is going up against a hometown favorite. Let's get into this. Round 1. Fujita fakes a shoot and then Shamrock delivers a leg kick. A real shoot-in attempt by Fujita is expertly blocked by Shamrock. Fujita wades in and then the men clash with both men delivering punches. Fujita then shoots in again and is stuffed by Shamrock.
I mean, I will say this at this point once again, and I don't know if I didn't notice it before or what's going on, and maybe it's just me, but I think Ken Shamrock is one of those very, like, his muscles are ridiculously defined.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks ridiculously muscular.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
a lot of water.
I know.
A lot of water weight muscles.
Yeah, but it's just so fucking defined. It's really weird, and I think it's more because of the fight he's going against Fujita, who is, you know, shoji style, where it's kind of punchier kind of thing. I mean, like Igor does not have defined muscles, but he will beat the fuck out of you. So it doesn't really mean anything. But it's just Ken Shamrock looks very defined, and I for some reason. The contrast between these two fighters just made me realize that.
I've said this a long time. Shamrock does not have a body for fighting. He looks great, but that body, you cannot sustain the output that is required to keep doing what he will do in this fight.
Which is
think you're gonna.
But I mean, to a certain degree, it's the same flaw that people like Mark Kerr have.
Yeah, that's not a body for fighting. That's a body for showing off. All those muscles need blood and oxygen, and that sucks it right out of the rest of you being able to function. Yeah. Where was I? Fujita moves in again and gets pegged by a left and right from Shamrock. Shamrock chases him, and they clinch, and Fujita delivers a knee. The men stay in the clinch and both send knees at each other's gut. Another shoot-in by Fujita, and Shamrock blocks it, but gets tripped. And now Fujita has his back. Fujita, who apparently broke his nose on Mark Kerr's knee, is bleeding from the nose, and maybe he has re-injured it. Shamrock, that cheating fuck, death grips the ropes as Fujita tries to take him down.
I will say this, by the way, I also have a comment on that. I'm like, holy shit. Ken Shamrock is holding onto those ropes as a fat man holds onto cake.
Yes, it was fucking very terrible. The ref halts the fight to deliver a yellow card and gets smacked by Brian Johnston, one of Fujita's cornermen, who's
well-deserved yellow card.
Yes, who's obviously very upset with the ref's lackadaisy delivery of a yellow card.
He's going to get a win. He's going to get a warning.
He's going to get a yellow card.
He's going to get a yellow card.
There it is. There it is.
Now, in case you're not familiar, if you break the rules, you get 2 warnings.
Fujita shoots in again and easily is blocked by Shamrock, who pegs Fujita with a good punch, and Fujita tries again with knees, then a barrage of punches by Ken that find their mark. More clinching and a stiff uppercut by Shamrock.
Wait. Hey, guys. Fujita's got hit with a Shamrock shake.
Does McDonald's still make those?
Every once in a while, I think. Closer to St. Patty's Day.
Oh, God. And a stiff uppercut by Shamrock, and then hooks that dazed Fujita, who looks out of it. And Shamrock keeps throwing punches as Fujita is about to crumble. Shamrock pushes Fujita down, and instead of kicking him in the face, Shamrock decides to grapple with him on the mat. Huge mistake. Fujita grabs a hold of Shamrock's knee guard and uses it to try and take him down, and Shamrock once again grabs the ropes, but no admonishment from the ref, likely due to Fujita's very own foul himself. Shamrock has a guillotine choke sunk in, and Fujita's face turns a darker shade of gray, but Ken has to be careful here of gassing out his arms. Shamrock lets go, and after a moment, Fujita shoots in, gets stuffed, and then tries to whack Ken with punches. Clinched again, and uppercut from Shamrock, then knees by both. Body shot by Ken, and then an overhand right that plasters Fujita. Still clinched, and Shamrock with uppercut and knees. Then the men release each other. Both men take a well-deserved breather here, before Fujita shoots in again, gets blocked, and is released.
You'll see it throughout the fight. For some reason, and I mean, we heard it a little bit on some previous fights, but this fight, you can tell now there's an audience in there, man, because
yeah.
you hear the audience and they are really fucking chanting for Fujita.
Mm-hmm.
And it like you hear it and it's amazing. It's one of those things where like honestly like it makes you realize for example the first fight just how terrible it is when it's dead fucking quiet. Then you have a fight like this where the fans are into it and you hear the audience, you hear the arena just rumbling with noise, and it's awesome.
Shamrock is looking a bit gassed now, and Fujita seems a bit fresher. 5 minutes have passed in round 1. Fujita shoots in again and gets stuffed again, and then something happens that causes the ref to briefly halt the fight, but no explanation, and the fight is restarted.
I think it was one of those things where it almost looked like someone got kicked in the nuts. Or like a hit in the nuts.
Yeah, that's possible. I didn't review it to see what the hell happened. I just said, fuck it, let's just go on. So, let's see. Fujita shoots in and gets stuffed once again. And then they clinch and Shamrock rips Fujita's head with an uppercut. And then the men trade flurries and then they clinch again. Shamrock works the body in uppercuts, and Fujita absorbs more punishment than he is doling out. We're pushed into the corner, and Ken Shamrock is signaling something to his corner. I hear him say, throw it.
Out a little bit, it might turn this fight around.
As in, the towel?
Well, I mean, I will say this. Right before he's starting to say something, the moment he got pushed into the corner, you think he's grabbing the rope, but if you look closely, he's tapping. And I don't think the ref saw that. So I think Ken Shamrock realized, ref thinks I'm just grabbing the rope because I've been fucking doing it all match long. So that's when he starts talking to his corner.
Yeah.
I will also say, right before this, I missed the chance to say it while you were doing it. Work the body, Ken, is a great tagline for anything.
Yeah.
Because his corner's yelling it the entire fight, like for 2 minutes straight. And I'm thinking that works for anything. Like you open a gym, work the body, Ken.
We should definitely trademark that before Ken Shamrock gets it. Hearing something back from his corner, Shamrock nods his head, and the next thing you know, the bell is ringing. And just like that, Kazuyuki Fujita is the winner via TKO. Due to corner stoppage at 6 minutes and 46 seconds of the first round.
More effective. Yeah, now Fujita got Shamrock in the corner.
I tell you what, if Fujita can keep coming forward and tire Ken Shamrock out a little bit, it might turn this fight around.
I think Fujita is running on empty at this point. I think he's got to really pace himself. Shamrock is really winded as well. Shamrock is looking like he's going to get another yellow card. Oh my God.
Ken Shamrock threw in the towel. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
Wow, totally out of the blue. And I think Shamrock is having some sort of episode. Don Fry looks absolutely hilarious here with long hair and a black eye. Holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with him? And holy hot Japanese babe. Wow.
But once again, we get a shot of the Chin Man.
Yeah.
And even though his fighter just won, he does not look fucking happy.
No.
Which I understand, because technically he didn't win. Ken Shamrock just lost.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock quit.
Yeah.
Oh, and that does it for this one. Good vibe. What did you think of old Ken versus Fujita?
I mean, honestly, once again, one-sided fight. Ken Shamrock dominated the fight. Fujita got lucky at the fact that Ken Shamrock burns himself out.
Or had a heart attack.
Whatever the fuck it was. But yeah, Ken Shamrock just got tired, and Fujita won because of that. Honestly, this is about as big an upset or a different outcome as the Big Daddy Goodridge fight for me, because Ken Shamrock dominated the fight the entire time.
Yeah, this was another barn burner, great fight. Sad to see Shamrock have to call for it to stop. I think he was on track to definitely defeat Fujita, although I don't think he could have knocked him out, as he hit him with some of his best, and Fujita's iron head just will not allow him to fucking be knocked out. So, good fight, sad ending, but still 9 out of 10. So, what would become of our two wound-up warriors here? Fujita will return at Pride 12 Cold Fury in December of 2000, where he will take on Gilbert Yvel. As for Shamrock, he wouldn't be back until Pride 19, Bad Blood.
Bad Blood.
Where his rivalry with Don Fry will be put to bed. That won't happen though until February 2002. And until then, Shamrock would only fight once at WMMAA1 Mega Fighters. That's World Mixed Martial Arts Association. Whew, that would be the only ever event for WMMAA, and Shamrock would be fighting for their heavyweight championship. Will he claim the belt? To find out, viewers, you'll have to tune in to Pride Resurrection episode 22. So we'll see you then, boys. Our ninth bout of the evening sees two newcomers, with Heian Gracie taking on Tokimitsu Ishizawa. Heian Gracie was 26 years old at the time and had an MMA record of 0-0, while Ishizawa was 32 years old and likewise had a record of 0-0. In a Hollywood remake of Pride 1, a Gracie takes on a pro wrestler at Pride 10. But just who are our two new fighters here? Heian Gracie is the brother of Renzo Gracie, a man who we'll see in the main event tonight. Obviously, he is a trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, but he's one with a surprising lack of exhibition fights on his record, either in grappling or MMA. Instead, it appears he's honed his skills in the streets, and more specifically in backyard BBQ brawls, in which I conveniently have video proof of. As a commentator said regarding this video, it's just another friendly backyard BBQ at the Gracie family estate. And in this video, Heian Gracie, wearing cute blue Speedo, attempts to grapple some unknown male aggressor, also wearing a Speedo. It's all very awkward and extremely homoerotic, especially with the various excited men who surround the two and egg them on. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Heian Gracie is no longer of this world, as he passed away in December of 2000 under very odd circumstances. After being arrested for stealing a car, Heian was found dead in his jail cell, apparently caused by being overprescribed medication by a psychiatrist who was called in by Heian's wife. Well, at least we will be able to relive his glory days and celebrate his life here. What about his Japanese opponent? Tokimitsu is better known by his wrestling name Kendo Kashin, and he debuted for New Japan Pro Wrestling back in 1992. In 1996, he decided to head off to Austria to gain experience points and level up, and that is when he started donning a mask, a gimmick he would take back to Japan with him. After returning to Japan under the name Kendo Kashin, he quickly rose through the ranks of New Japan Pro Wrestling, where in 1999 he would capture the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And that brings us here to Pride 10.
So, I mean, was this fight planned all along? Because it didn't get any intros, it didn't get any walk-ins, it got nothing. It went like straight to the fucking fight.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, is this like, oh, we just had some big fights. Hey, audience, it's your time to get some refreshment. Maybe go to the bathroom.
The bathroom break fight, yes. Quadro says that Heian is the bad boy of the Gracie family, garnering no response from Bravo.
Heian Gracie!
Heian Gracie, now, Eddie, you know he's the bad boy of the Gracie family. We'll talk about that a little later.
Fujita hasn't gone back to the locker room yet, instead opting to stay ringside to watch this fight. He must be buddies with Tokimitsu. Wow, these boys are raring to go as they are chomping and encroaching on each other before the ref has even signaled the start of the round. Oh man, this will be awesome. Round one, and the men do nothing. What the fuck? They are like 1 foot away from each other and are doing their best Mortal Kombat static animation. Bravo calls Heian Renzo, saying Renzo needs Tokimitsu on the ground. Quadro snarkily says, yeah, Heian does need to take him down. A comment obviously going over Bravo's head.
Renzo needs Tokimitsu Ishizawa on the ground.
Yeah, Heian does need to take him down.
Right? I'm gonna call him Ryan. His name is fucking Ryan. Heian fakes a left and Bull rushes in, getting a single leg and taking Tokimitsu down to the mat. We're in the corner and Tokimitsu has the neck of Heian wrapped up, but he doesn't have much here.
No, I mean, both Quadro was making a comment of it, and like I said, I'm not a fighter fan, so I didn't realize this. But once he made the comment, it made sense. Is sure, one arm is around the neck, but the other one isn't. So there literally is no pressure on the neck.
Right.
For the first 15 seconds, I thought that he had an amazing guillotine going on. But then when he made that comment, I'm like, that's why Gracie is so fucking relaxed.
Yes. Heian pops his head out and works to get Tokimitsu flat on his back, but Toki has his arm draped over the rope, so instead, Heian decides to beat the shit out of his head, starting with a knee attempt, then a barrage of punches. Tokimitsu takes about 5 solid shots and nary a hand put up in defense, and then more shots and Tokimitsu is out on his feet, and the ref, bless his heart, has seen enough.
Tokimitsu grabbing the ropes, that is illegal.
Yeah, he might get a yellow card.
Oh, nice knee by, Heian Gracie going crazy.
It's over. Heian Gracie.
Unbelievable.
Big win for Heian Gracie.
Huge win. Huge
The
win.
winner is Heian Gracie.
Heian Gracie took...
Heian Gracie, winner via KO after 2 minutes and 16 seconds of the first round. Wow, what a finish.
I mean, and this was one of the funniest moments ever. Because Tokimitsu literally got made into a punching bag. Yeah. Because Gracie would punch him, he would start leaning back, hit the ropes, and then come back for another one. Yeah. It was like just literally just a punching bag, just bam. One of those punching dummies, you know, like the ones that are filled with sand at the bottom, so you punch it, goes down, comes back out for more. That was it, and it was just so funny to watch.
Yes. Fujita gets in the ring to tend to his pro wrestling buddy. Heian gets on the mic to say some words in Portuguese, and we're off to the next fight.
That Grand Prix 2000, that was the one.
Meu irmão, ao Sérgio Cláudio, que é o meu treinador de boxe, a Body Lab, fornece a minha alimentação.
Good vibe. Any final thoughts on this one?
I mean, I had no expectations for this fight because, like I told you, they didn't get an intro, they didn't get a walk-in, they didn't get a fucking presentation in the ring. Right. It went straight to the fight. So I'm like, this is just some sucky, you know, hey, let's give the actual fights a fucking rest. Yeah. So I didn't really have much of it. I will say,
like a women's match in WWE.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I will say Gracie did well. Tokimitsu, no defense on the punching.
No.
So you know, before you even go with what happens to their fighters, I hope he fucking learns a lesson. But I have a question. So he's not part of the Takeda camp?
No, he's a part of the Inoue Fujita camp.
I thought they were the same.
So I think I think they're separate. He doesn't have Takada, although he's friends with Inoue. Mm-hmm. They're not like real like close buddy.
Okay.
So I'll say this: I didn't really care about this fight. Not much to say, as it wasn't a competitive fight, but good result anyway.
Yeah, I mean, good result for Gracie. Like it wasn't bad for him.
So what would become of our 2 low ball brawlers here? Heian Gracie will return at Pride 12 Cold Fury, where he'll rise to the challenge of Kazushi Sakuraba.
Oh, that's a good challenge.
Absolutely. As for Tokimitsu, he wouldn't return until Pride 15 Raging Rumble, where he will have a rematch against Heian Gracie. What? Why?
See, that's why I thought he looked like Sakuraba camp.
Yes. See you then, boys.
We're backstage here with the great Renzo Gracie. Renzo, how do you feel?
Great. Ready to go.
Renzo, the entire country of Brazil is behind you and waiting in anticipation. This is the greatest fight in jiu-jitsu history. Do you feel the extra pressure, or is this just another fight for you?
It's just another day in the office, my man. I'm gonna go there to have some fun.
Great. I know you must have watched tons of tape on Sakuraba. Is there anything that you saw in his style that you could take advantage of that Hoist and Hoyler didn't?
Oh yes, but I won't let you guys know now. Let's see the fight and see if you can work those points.
I'm here outside the dressing room of Kazushi Sakuraba, and in much keeping with his mysterious aura, he has refused to talk to us. I think he needs to get his head together before he fights Renzo Gracie. So we shall see what the mystery man pulls on us tonight. What trick will he bring into the ring tonight? We'll see.
Our 10th and final bout of the evening sees a returning Kazushi Sakuraba taking on a returning Renzo Gracie. Sakuraba enters this fight 31 years old with a record of 9-2-1 with 1 no contest. Renzo, meanwhile, was 33 years old with a record of 9-1-1 with 1 no contest himself. Before we get into the fight here, fight fans, I just want to introduce a special guest who's going to be joining us in commentary on this fight. It's Corey, big friend of the show who's been there since just about the beginning. He comments all the time. He knows his stuff. I've been trying to get him on to join us before, and finally he's here. So Corey, thank you very much. Why don't you say hi and tell us who your favorite Pride fighter is?
Well, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me. Big fan. And, oh God, that's a tough question to put on the spot. I have to go with Goodridge.
Goodridge, yeah.
Great choice. Boom.
Great choice.
That's a winning choice. That is why you're here tonight, man.
Yes.
Smart choice.
Well known, we love Gary Goodridge. Sakuraba last competed in Pride at the Grand Prix Finals, putting in a valiant effort against Igor Vovchanchyn. Since then, he's been on doctor's orders not to fight. Renzo was last seen in Pride at Pride 8, where he failed to put away Alexander Otska and instead took home a decision win. Between then and now, or then and then, he appeared at Ring's King of Kings 1999 tournament, where he armbarred his first 2 opponents in the tournament opening rounds held in December of '99. First, Wataru Sakata and then Maurice Smith, both in the first round and both in quick fashion. In the tournament finals held in February of 2000, he would lose via decision to Kiyoshi Tamura, Ring's mainstay and future Pride fighter. Sakuraba is now firmly in the midst of a Gracie family rivalry, this being the 3rd Gracie he will face. Pre-fight, Renzo talks with Eddie Bravo, and Renzo says it's just another day in the office, despite the fact that the entire country of Brazil is waiting in anticipation. Later, Renzo is seen watching his brother Hyan starch Tokimitsu in the previous fight. Quadros, meanwhile, has been given the cold shoulder by Sakuraba, whose mysterious aura is to blame for him not giving an interview. I can hardly hold my water for this one, so let's get right into it. Round 1. As the bell rings, Bravo calls this the biggest fight in mixed martial arts history.
I think I made myself clear, Steve. This is the biggest fight in mixed martial arts history. This is it right here.
Yeah, that's a little more legitimate than the Antonio Inoue versus Muhammad Ali comment that Boss Ruben made.
Wrong move.
Yes, which was a shit fucking fight, and
I think that's the only time in history that we will ever hear someone say that's a better comment from Eddie than from Boss.
Yes,
I'm never gonna fucking say it.
No, yeah, we've been hating on Eddie Bravo all night. So
he didn't make enough flat Earth comments for you.
No.
Not enough karaoke comments.
Right.
How about that? Not enough shitty singing.
Renzo opens the bout with a body kick that is partially deflected. The men then exchange kicks, and Sakuraba tries a small flurry of punches. Missing leg kick by Sakuraba. Renzo then charges in with a left-right-left combo and gets a hold of Sakuraba. Renzo pushes him to the ropes and sends up a knee, and now were in the corner.
By the way, at this point, like when they grappled, it literally looks like a slow dance of prom. Like Sakuraba's face is like, what am I doing here, man? It's like that girl that didn't want to go with you, like your cousin, but she felt bad for you, so she still went to prom with you. That's exactly that fucking face.
Is this where they spend 3 minutes, like, up against the ropes?
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of reminded me of, like, someone that you knew from a while back that you don't really like comes up and hug you.
Right, yeah.
Doesn't really want to hug him back. That's what that reminded me of.
Definitely, man, definitely.
Thankfully, this fight will only be 2 10-minute rounds and not unlimited rounds like the Sakuraba hoist fight, as detailed by Quadros. Sakuraba pushes out of the corner and goes for Renzo's legs, taking him down to the mat. Sakuraba is in Renzo's guard. Sakuraba postures up and Renzo sends up his well-known dangerous up kicks. Well known in the regard that one of those up kicks had sent Oleg Taktarov into La La Land. Sakuraba merely backs away and then Renzo stands. Leg kick by Renzo to little effect. He then tries it again, this time connecting a bit better, and then a third time. Sakuraba charges in but doesn't pull the trigger, accomplishing little, and he receives another leg kick from Renzo for his troubles. Renzo now charges in and swings errantly before Sakuraba ducks, grabs an ankle, and Renzo falls to the mat. In prime position, Sakuraba deals out his patented slicing leg kicks to a still down Renzo.
That section right there is brutal. I love the feints that Sakuraba is throwing to get him, Renzo to go to one side to open up the other one. But I would not want to be Renzo's leg right now.
No, and has Renzo not seen Sakuraba's previous fights? Why is he gonna let Sakuraba do how he pretty much destroyed Hoyler's legs this same way?
Yeah, but here's the thing is... Go ahead,
The thing was, the first time Renzo tried to get up, Sakuraba gave him a nasty leg kick that swept him right back on the ground, and I think he was a little hesitant after that.
See, for me, it's more Sakuraba, like I've said before, it's one of those fighters that rises to his opponent. So there has been some Sakuraba fights where I wasn't that impressed with him. So, I mean, maybe to a certain extent, Gracie just is like, oh, you know, sometimes he does well, sometimes he doesn't. Maybe I can sneak away with this.
Sure. Hilariously, Bravo tries to tell a story of Murillo Bustamante and Renzo's up kicks, and Quadros keeps shouting over him about Sakuraba's kicks. This had me chuckling, and I could hear Bravo seething with hate, and he simply gives up trying to tell the story.
And like I said earlier, he drills the up kick. He actually showed it to Murillo Bustamante. Bustamante didn't really have that much faith in it, didn't drill it.
Sack with another good kick to the leg. Another hard kick to Renzo's leg.
He didn't, like I said, Bustamante didn't drill.
Another good kick by Sakuraba.
Renzo finds his opportunity to stand and does so, and then Quadros, what a gentleman, opens the door for Bravo to tell his little story about Bustamante. And just as he begins to tell it, Quadros cuts him off.
Yeah, as you were saying about the kick he taught to Murillo Bustamante before he fought Jerry Bolander, Eddie.
Yeah, he didn't believe in it until he saw him knock out Oleg. And
Murillo didn't believe in it.
Yeah, he didn't believe in it. Then he saw Renzo knock Oleg out.
Ooh. Oh, nice roundhouse kick, but it was blocked. It was blocked.
Can a guy speak in general terms without being checked every goddamn time?
Renzo tries a stomp-like kick, and Sakuraba counters with punches. Renzo then goes for Sakuraba's legs, but Sakuraba blocks it, and we stay standing. Renzo seems to be aiming for Sakuraba's ass with a punch, and Sakuraba kicks him in the hip, then swings with punches and clips Renzo with a good right. Leg kick by Sakuraba, then another. Renzo collides with Sakuraba, and Sakuraba tries a knee and follows with a missing punch. 5 minutes down in round 1, and Quadros says that there is a lot of strategy in this fight.
A lot of strategy coming into play right now.
And I wholeheartedly agree. Even more, this fight is a work of art in terms of fight strategy, all the while not being boring. And it really shows MMA as not just some bar-brawling bloody sport. If only this era of fighting was still around.
And you can definitely see the difference in strategies too. You have Sakuraba remaining stationary for the most part, trying to draw Renzo to him, but he kept his hands low the entire time, so that way if Henzo shot in, he'd be able to get the underhooks.
Quadros made a mention of his hands being low, and he said that Sakuraba needed to lift his hands, but you know, thinking about Sakuraba fighting, he doesn't keep his hands very high.
No, he never has, which honestly to me does seem like a flaw, because he is inviting someone to hit him. And I mean, I will say this, you're fighting a Gracie, so it's understandable because they're more known for their grappling than their striking.
Exactly.
But I mean, will he try to do that if he ever goes to against like an Igor, against a Mark Kerr? Because then it's just inviting disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope not in that case. But in this fight, I definitely understood why he did it.
Sakuraba backs Henzo up towards the corner and throws a leg kick, and then they exchange punches, with Sakuraba being the more aggressive fighter. Inside leg kick by Henzo, and just as Bravo asks Quadros if he is impressed with Henzo's stand-up, Henzo throws two looping punches that aren't even close.
I'll tell you, Steve, I'm impressed with Henzo's stand-up. Are you?
Yeah, I really am, because Henzo has really boxed and kickboxed well. He's missing wildly sometimes, like he just did there.
Gotta love Quadros and his amazing power of prophecy, as Bravo says he doesn't think we'll see much ground game in this fight.
I have a strange feeling that we're not going to see too much groundwork today.
Could be. Or if we do see it, we will see it later in this round or in the second round.
We're against the ropes with Henzo hugging Sakuraba very close, and the men are taking a breather. 3 minutes remain in round one. The ref comes in and breaks the fighters apart, moving them to the center of the ring. Henzo with a nice extended left punch, and then a zippy inside leg kick that swings Sakuraba's leg out. There's a breezy head kick attempt by Henzo, and then a 1-2 shortly after, then a body punch, and no response from Sakuraba. 1 minute now remains in round one. Sakuraba looks to freak Henzo the fuck out as he runs in with his hands straight up, and as Henzo backs away, Sakuraba slices him with a kick. The crowd really liked it.
His moves. Oh, he's going to go for a double Mongolian chop over the top. Look at that.
Sakuraba tries a soft head kick, then punches Henzo. Sakuraba then pelts Henzo's leg with a kick. Then the bell rings, ending round one. Bravo calls the round a little too close to call, but nonetheless gives it to Henzo.
That round's a little too close to call, but I have to go with Henzo in that round. He was more the aggressor.
I would have to agree with you on that.
See, that confused me. I thought in pride they judged it on the fight as the entire fight and not by rounds.
Yeah, and I think Bravo is trying to apply the American-style judging rules. Pride would always judge the fights on the entirety of the fight, so there's no 10 points for this round or whatever.
Once again, Bravo is not a good commentator. Jesus Christ, man.
Also, they both gave the edge to Henzo in their commentary. I disagree. I thought when Henzo was on his back, I thought Sakuraba tore him up, and overall, even though he was standing still most of the time, most of the effective strikes were by Sakuraba.
Quadros points out the bias of the production crew, who don't show any of Henzo's highlights from the round, instead only showing Sakuraba's offense.
Oh my god, I wonder why.
Yes, I wonder why.
Where does this event take place, asshole?
Yes, right. Who is the best fighter in Japan? I wonder why they wouldn't show any of Henzo's highlights.
The best fighter isn't Takada?
What? No.
Fuck Takada. Fuck him.
Let's see what happens in round two. Henzo flies in with punches and Sakuraba ducks down, swinging Henzo around and down to the mat. Sakuraba stands over Henzo and then fakes a leap, to which Henzo is well prepared for. Sakuraba then moves back to get ahead of steam, and he rushes in with a side kick to the inside leg, and then follows with a downward punch onto Henzo's jaw. Sakuraba tries a back kick to Henzo's leg, and then Henzo manages to push at Sakuraba's knee. The men trade kicks here as Sakuraba tries to jostle Henzo's foot. Sakuraba tries a cartwheel, using it to get position, but Henzo throws both feet up and Sakuraba is back on his feet. Sakuraba now punishes Henzo's leg, and Henzo decides to stand, and then they trade punches. Henzo charges in with a swinging punch, and Sakuraba ducks down and manages to spin Renzo to the mat once again. Sakuraba now elects to stay in Renzo's guard. Sakuraba stands briefly and holds the rope for leverage to tease an axe kick. Then he goes back into Renzo's guard. We're slowed down here and both men are waiting for the other to make a mistake. 5 minutes passed in round 2.
I mean, honestly, out of the entire event, this has been the most even fight.
Oh, yeah. After a minute or two, Sakuraba stands back up, sends in a kick, and works his way off the ropes. Sakuraba takes a hold of Renzo's foot and spins him around. And then Renzo pops up and we're back to standing. At the 7-minute mark, Sakuraba kicks and then Renzo punches. Then there's a low kick by Renzo and Sakuraba shoots down for a single leg takedown, but gets stuffed and eats a knee on the way up, followed by a punch. Sakuraba answers with a high kick. Renzo moves in again with a punch and Sakuraba ducks low, but gets blocked. And Renzo pops him in the chest with a knee. Renzo once again moves somewhere, and I don't have it written down.
What the hell did you do for this fight, man?
I must have been drunk or fucking high. I don't know.
Jesus.
Renzo once again moves in, knowing that Sakuraba will go low. But this time, Sakuraba gets a good hold of Renzo's leg and turns him down to the mat. Sakuraba is now back in Renzo's guard, but gets pushed away by Renzo. In an odd turn of events, Sakuraba is standing inside of Renzo's legs, and Renzo sits up, putting his head through Sakuraba's legs, and now Renzo has taken Sakuraba's back. Somehow, Sakuraba has trapped Renzo's left arm.
The second that happened, like, you think Renzo has his back, and then the camera angle shifts and you see that Kimura grip. I could just imagining like going through Renzo's mind, like there's no way he's gonna get me with this one.
As Renzo muscles Sakuraba to the mat, Sakuraba holds onto his arm. We're down to just 1 minute now. Both men seem to stand together and Sakuraba suddenly puts the torque on Renzo's arm, twisting it up and around and causing Renzo to scramble down to the mat.
I've seen Sakuraba use that rolling Kimura technique before, so as soon as I saw the grip, I thought even Renzo knew he was in trouble at that point.
Sakuraba has wound up on top, but Renzo's elbow looks fucked up already, as the bend in his arm is not natural at all.
Sakuraba, he would almost invite Renzo to try to hook the legs in because he wanted to go for the knee bar. Oh! What a great move by Sakuraba. He's getting into side control. Got a Kimura on Renzo Gracie.
It looks so weird, but I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe Gracie's, you know, he's a knowledgeable fighter. He knows this. He knows how much pressure his arm can take.
Right. The ref sees the state of Renzo's fucked up arm and out of concern halts the fight to take a better look. And oh my God, his arm is frozen and is bent the wrong way. The ref calls for the bell and it's all over.
It's only 1 minute left. We don't want to have another Horror Gracie situation here, folks. What happened? Oh, was the round over? Did Renzo break his arm? He might have broke his arm.
I think his arm is broken.
He broke his arm with a spin around. Oh my God.
The streamers fall from the sky and Sakuraba has done it. Sakuraba, winner via technical submission at 9 minutes and 43 seconds of the second round.
Clarify just at the end there, when they went to the ground, his arm was already fixed, like by the time Renzo was on his back.
Yes.
And like the gentleman he is, Sakuraba called the ref over to show him that he wouldn't torque it anymore. He'd like let him see.
Yeah, he didn't have to put any pressure. The arm was frozen, and there is absolutely no objections at all from Renzo over the result and the calling off by the ref. So he knew his arm was fucked.
That was a really good maneuver by Sakuraba, and yeah, you could tell the arm was messed up, but it was still a very athletic of him. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's like, holy shit, he just pulled it off. And even if the arm hadn't been injured, I don't think Gracie was going to get out of that one.
No way. Sakuraba was too experienced with that hold. He had it locked in, and he was already in a bad spot to begin with. Even when they were both on their knees, that was the beginning of the end.
Right, and even if his elbow wasn't fucked up, it might have turned into another Hoyler situation where He just keeps holding on to it, keeps putting on torque. Renzo didn't tap. I mean, I got to give him credit for that. He's stone-faced, no cries. Like, I couldn't believe it.
And in an interview later, Renzo said that was the most pain he's ever been in his entire life.
I don't know how the Gracies do it.
Well, Hoyler is known for not tapping the joint locks ever. If you ever saw that Metamoris match with Eddie Bravo, his leg and knee were like you popped multiple times from the vaporizer, and he just let the time run out.
I don't know how the Gracies do it. Like, to have that amount of pain tolerance for these fucking holds is unbelievable. Fucking unbelievable.
I will say that because of this fight, Renzo Gracie has my utmost respect, because he is the one Gracie that fought by the rules of the promotion, and he wasn't a sore loser about it afterwards.
You're absolutely right. Bravo calls Sakuraba the best fighter in the world, and all Takada can do is look on at a real fighter. Sakuraba gets on the mic, and I think my Japanese isn't perfect, but he is plugging his LASIK eye surgeon.
Here he is.
すみません、ちょっと守りに入ってつまんない試合になってしまいましたが、遠藤選手とても強くて、もう結構手こずったので、また機会があれば遠藤選手とやってみたいと思います。その時は多分面白い試合になると思いますので、また次回練習して、皆さんの期待に応えられるように頑張りますので応援よろしくお願いします。
Then Renzo gets on the mic, saying that Sakuraba was better than him tonight, and that he is the Japanese version of the Gracie family.
Sakura. Renzo's got the mic now.
Many people make excuses when they lose. I have only one. He was better than me tonight. I wish him all the best. And the only gift that I can give to him is say that he's the Japanese version of the Gracie family.
High praise indeed.
I mean, speaking of the Gracie family, I think that's part of the reason why Renzo didn't tap. It's because the Gracie family is not known for losing, plain and simple. You know, they like to, I mean, they like to tout the credit that, you know, technically because of them, MMA got popular, blah, blah, blah. So being beaten by someone like Sakuraba, who's from the fucking Takeda camp, that's not the best thing ever.
Quadros and Bravo here allude to the fight that we'd all want to see. Rickson Gracie versus Sakuraba. A fight that would never happen. Then, in a hilarious comedy bit, Ryan Gracie gets on the mic and he challenges Sakuraba. But then Vitor Belfort has arrived and he gets on the mic. What the fuck is happening here? Is there no control over who's getting in the ring and getting on the mic anymore?
Sport of mixed martial arts.
There's one Gracie left, Steve. I don't even need him to say his name.
Yes, there is one Gracie, but that's a big fight, and he is the family champion, Renzo's cousin.
That will be a fight.
Yeah.
That the world will demand.
Yeah, so everybody wants to grab the mic now.
You know what Gracie I'm talking about?
Yeah, it would be Rickson Gracie.
That would be the greatest fight ever.
Now, Vitor Belfort has gotten in the ring.
Primeiramente, eu gostaria de parabenizar o Sakuraba e parabenizar o Renzo Gracie pela grande excelente luta que eles fizeram. Eu gostaria de fazer minha revanche com o Sakuraba no próximo Pride. Será um prazer. 今日の試合は本当にいい試合でした。次の試合も、次のプライドも僕も桜庭選手と試合がしたいです。お願いします。
There isn't. Well, there fucking hasn't been. You had motherfucking hairy bastard get on the fucking mic as a fucking loser. There's no control.
Gentlemen, what were your thoughts on this one? Starting with you, Corey.
Great fight. Probably for some people it seemed a little slow, but I mean that came down to the strategic plans. Sakuraba ended up wanting to be they were both wanting to be counter strikers in this fight. At least it seemed to me. But no one really was the main aggressor. There wasn't as much grappling as I thought there would be, which surprised me. But I was surprised. Renzo isn't a slouch when it comes to the striking, and we all know Sakuraba's his pedigree. Great fight. Glad it wasn't another 90-minute snort fest.
Yes, yeah.
Follow the rules.
Honestly, like I said, this is one of the most even fights of the night, and I like that. I mean, like I've said before, I mean, to me, mostly grappling fights are boring as all fucking hell. But I didn't really think this one was that slow or anything. I enjoyed it. The pace was good. There was enough combination of striking or trying to grapple and stuff like that. And honestly, the ending was fucking perfection.
The fact that you said that proves my point here. Even a non-fan of MMA could be shown this fight and they could understand the weight of it and the strategy and how it's not boring. It's absolutely not boring because there's meaning there. And even though at some point you could say, well, not a lot was happening, they're just in the corner, they're strategizing, they're planning, it's the art of the sport. And this fight illustrates that to a T. Definitely. I mean, it's a gorgeous fight, really good fight. Even though it was a little bit slow, it was still an epic battle. And this time, unlike Hoyler, there was no doubt that Sakuraba bent that fucking arm. So, what would become of our two gnarly grapplers here? Sakuraba will return in short order for Pride 11, Battle of the Rising Sun, to take on Shannon Rich, Coolidge, Arizona native who enters the bout with a record of 13-16 and 1 no contest. Why? As for Renzo, we won't see him back in Pride until Pride 13 Collision Course, where Hollywood Dan Henderson will take on the Gentle Warrior. See ya, boys, then! And with that, I have to say goodbye to Corey. Corey, we really appreciate you coming on. This was really cool. You obviously know your stuff, so thanks for doing this.
It's an honor to be here, and thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome, and we hope we'll get you back soon. And hey, viewers out there, if anyone else is interested in maybe joining for a fight or two, let us know in the comments. We'll see if we can hook it up, but we're definitely going to look forward to Corey coming back. And we'll say goodbye to Corey.
Have a good one, man.
You too, guys. Enjoy your night.
And with that, we've come to the close of Pride 10. Good vibe. Overall thoughts on this event?
I mean, like I said, and I mentioned it at least 3 times, so I will focus on it right now. Most of the fights were too one-sided. Even if they weren't meant to be, they ended up being that way. And to me, that does not make for a good event. I mean, I understand when you have surprises, like the Gary Goodridge fight, but there's so many others that weren't surprises, and to me just doesn't work out.
Wow, I can't believe you said that. I have this written here. This is the best Pride event up until this point. It was stellar, a stacked card with good matchups and satisfying finishes, and it didn't let up. All the fights were good, the fighters performed well, the matchups were good, just awesome show. 10 out of 10.
Wait, you just said, you literally just looked me in the eyes and said all the matches were good.
They were. All the matches were good. Even the opening bout, even though Matsui wasn't competitive.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He wasn't competitive. How can you say that's a good match? How can you literally say how can you even fucking call it a match?
Yeah, okay, so, you know, Gary Goodridge, Gilbert Yvel, it was over in 26 seconds.
No, but see, that still to me is a good fight. Because it's not something you expected. It's an unexpected result, but it's still, the match gets hyped up. But there's certain things in the card that I just looked at, like Inoue versus Igor.
Great fight, though.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Inoue tried to fucking go punch to punch.
In the beginning, he was kind of competitive until it went to the mat.
In the beginning, it was kind of competitive until it wasn't. Wow, that is great fucking commentary on that one. Well, no shit.
Wow, we're at totally different sides here. I thought this was an amazing event. I would encourage anyone out there to go see this for yourselves. Don't just go by a review. Go see it for yourself. It's a great event.
I mean, it has great matches, but I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
I would give it 5, 6 out of 10 because of some of the other ones.
Come on,
dude. All right, no.
Back on
no, here. I can just to solidify my point. I'm gonna go through each one of them. Matsui Belfort, like I said, fuck that match. It wasn't a match. Right? Then you have Mezger versus Silva. Good match. I'm giving you that good match. Don't fucking look at me that way. Giving you that good match. Rodriguez versus Giant. I mean, Giant was comical at best. At best. One-sided fight. One-sided fight the entire way through does not make it entertaining. Does not make it entertaining to me. Goodridge versus Gilbert. Like I said, quick match. It's still a good match for me. Then you have Kerr versus Igor. The other Igor, I should say. I mean, that wasn't too bad. It did hype up, so I'll give you that. Then you have Inoue versus Igor. It was gonna be a good match, and then Inoue showed that he just apparently took acid before thinking about what strategy to use for the match, because he went for everything that he fucking shouldn't. So yes, the first 10 seconds were amazing, but then from there on, it was jack shit. He didn't do jack shit when he was on the ground. Whatever, not my thing. Ken Shamrock versus Fujita. Entire match dominated by Ken Shamrock.
It was awesome though. It was so good.
I mean, I'm not saying that they aren't fun to watch, but to me, it makes a match great when there is a challenge. When, for example, like I keep fucking saying, this last match, this main event was amazing because it was an even back and forth. If you don't have that even back and forth, to me, I get bored.
So if you got this on a pay-per-view, you would have been disappointed, or no?
I mean, no. Only, I will say this. I would not have been disappointed only because of the main event.
Well, okay. All right. So what was your fight of the night then?
Well, I wonder what my fight of the night was. Okay, can the listeners guess this one? No, of course it was the fucking main event, man. That was my fight of the night. See? I mean, because it's one of those things where Sakuraba's talent is fucking growing, and it is really amazing that he took on a Gracie, and he was able to keep the Gracie from the grapple style of the Gracies.
Yeah. So for me, it's a bit tougher. As you know, I thought most of the fights were pretty fucking great. Runner-up is Sakuraba versus Renzo, but the fight that I was in love with was Mezger versus Silva. It was a fucking fantastic fight that got me so pumped up. It was a classic of throwing caution to the wind, which is a type of battle that Wanderlei Silva capitalizes on throughout his career. Awesome fight. My pick for fight of the night.
That is, I will say, that is my runner-up of fight of the night.
Okay, well,
because it was a great match.
Any thoughts? Any final thoughts you want to share on the pairing of Quadros and Bravo?
Jesus Christ, man! Honestly, if you wanna bring someone with the last name Bravo as a commentator, I prefer you bring Johnny.
Johnny Bravo. Listen, I really like Bravo. But his role here is not defined. He seems like he would be better suited for a play-by-play or analysis.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure he would get told that he's not the play-by-play. And I mean, when you join a commentating team, I mean, do some fucking research.
Right, yeah. Bravo knows his stuff. He knows his jiu-jitsu, and that's where he could have came in and had his expertise as an analysis on, you know, the situations where it was grappling on the mat. He could have threw in, well, and this is what the boss does.
Exactly.
He says, like, I would do this or I would do that.
Yeah, and this is how I train guys at my gym. Right. Kind of stuff like that.
Bravo
but that's still considered color commentary because that's not the play-by-play.
Yeah, and Bravo needed to, I guess maybe he's not a good color commentator because obviously you need to be funny, you need to have jokes, you need to have stories. Boss Rutan is the perfect color commentary because he's just a goofy guy.
Yeah.
Bravo seems too straight-laced. He seems like he wants to be a serious professional, but unfortunately there already was a serious professional in Quadros who is a better Bravo in this situation. Because Quadros, at this point in time, Quadros was bar none the best in the biz. His call of the action is fucking magic. When the action gets heavy, Quadros calling it with excitement is like fucking music to my ears. Even today, you could take the best. You could say Mike Goldberg of the UFC has a great call of the action, and I'm talking specifically about when there's a hard hit or kick and the play-by-play guy gets excited. You can't fucking match Mike Goldberg to Quadros. Quadros was fucking brilliant. So I love Quadros unabashedly. I know later, and this is a whole nother sordid fucking story, but Eddie Bravo and Joe Rogan would have a dust up with Quadros on some fucking internet forum where Quadros had 100 different alt accounts or something. And they were fucking talking shit on Quadros all the time. And you know what? I don't care what Quadros did. I fucking love Quadros. Quadros, if you're ever listening, you got a fan for life in me. I'm going to get a picture of you because you're such a good looking guy. And I'm going to put it in my den and just look at that every time and say, Quadros, you're the best fucking MMA announcer of all time. Never forget.
Eddie was terrible, plain and simple.
Eddie was terrible.
And I don't. And that's the thing is, like for me, my only experience with him is tonight, and tonight was terrible. He annoyed the fuck out of me. He made stupid comments that weren't funny. He didn't counter because I mean, not everyone's perfect, and there's been some boss comments that I was like, "What the fuck are you on, boss?"
Right.
But
there's so give and take.
Yeah, but Eddie never had that's a redeeming comment for me.
Right.
He had just stupid comments that just kept aggravating me and more.
He was very testy. He was short. He seemed like he didn't want to be seated next to Quadros. He seemed like a dick. Yeah. There was no give and take between the two. There was
he wanted it to do it by himself. Right,
exactly. He was like, well, yeah. So he seemed very snotty. And with that, we've come to the close of episode 12. Wow, what a show! The best yet. We'll be back soon for more Pride action, but what will be in store for us next time? Pride 11 Battle of the Rising Sun takes place on October 31st of 2000, and we will see 8 bouts featuring Heath Herring taking on Tom Erickson, Wanderlei Silva taking on Gilbert Yvel, Gary Goodridge taking on Yoshiaki Yatsu, Alexander Otska taking on Mike Who Bork. Might be a work?
Mike who?
Who? Akira Soji taking on Herman Renting. Can you say fix?
Yeah, these are names I never fucking heard.
Igor Vovchanchyn taking on Nobuhiko Takada. Take a wild guess on that one, folks. Naoya Ogawa takes on Masaaki Satake. And in the main event, Kazushi Sakuraba takes on Shannon Rich. Looks to be another stellar show.
He's fighting a girl?
But until then, fight fans, we must say adieu. So, for the Colombian Good Vibe, the machine who is somewhere out there, and also Corey, I am the most dangerous man alive today, wishing you goodbye, good luck, and we'll sniff you fucking jerks later.
Peace!